Test.
It still says setting up.
Huh?
Hold on one sec.
This meeting is being live streamed. Oh no, what if they stole everything we were supposed to see? Oh, they weren't supposed. Were they not supposed to see that the Reuters is showing a silver spot price of $27.48? At the same time, they're saying U.S. job growth rose solidly in July amid demand for workers in the service. Whoops, are we live?
I believe so. You said launch it live.
Did you tell them that I retired the other day and that you're running the company now? I'm partying on a beach in Mexico. See you later. Put digital Chris here. I think you're live, Yara. This meeting is being live streamed. Oh no, what if they stole everything?
I don't know what to do.
I can see that. Were they not supposed to see that the Reuters is showing a probably have a window open in the background.
I'm looking for it.
For workers in the service. You figure that out. I'll make a thumbnail so people have some idea why you're wasting their time conceivably.
Is that better?
You are. You're talking to your briefcase. You don't look silly in front of these people.
Hi, everyone. I think we're good.
Beautiful.
Are you there?
It's an exciting show.
Right? Where's your camera? I thought you were going to share your screen with us and show everybody
live,
what Reuters did.
Yeah, you're live.
Are you live with me? Hi, everyone. Well, welcome to the Sunday night open silver giveaway, all of the fun things on Arcadia. Are we
Oops, I'll hit the mute button. Sorry, I didn't need to rain on your parade. All right, I'm out.
No. Well, I'm new to this, you guys. This is my first ever live stream. So bear with me while I figure out how to get Chris and the screen sharing back. But thanks for joining me. I'm going to see if I can get my screen share going. Okay, fun with new things. I do love learning new skills, and I definitely respect and love how Chris and Rob make this all look so easy. Chris, are you back? Well, you guys, I feel okay about my valiant first effort, but I'm not exactly sure what to do once I get this part started. So bear with me, please. More. I might have to come back in a minute, you guys. I'm really sorry.
Is that the cliffhanger?
Oh, you're back. Well, can you join me with video, please? And with your screen share?
Look, you told me.
I know you're retired.
You talk about silver all the
you
time.
Know that Chris retired.
I left the US and now the lights are raining down. I don't know what's happening.
I'm so glad you're back. You left me like, all I do is talk
about silver. So I think I have a little bit of a margarita left somewhere. Can I go now? I think you're live, Laura. These people are going to see what you've done with the company.
Well, you guys, do you see what I have to deal with now that Chris is retired? Ever the party professional, I think I can get him back. Chris, I'm not ready to be the host and the boss.
That's why I'm trying to do the thumbnail for you, since you didn't do that.
The thumbnail's done, yeah.
Never listen to me. Sometimes you listen to me, sometimes not so much.
Oh, well, I'll update it. I don't know why that.
No, you're running the show. I will take care of it for you. That's why I've been silent, because I'm letting you run your company.
Well, I don't know if you're thank you for yours and Nibble's vote of confidence. So you guys, one of the fun things that happened today was Chris sent me a text and said, "Are you looking at this?" And I think you can see, well, the chart is no longer there, but it had shot straight up, just like on the thumbnail that I made that isn't showing. So, oh, Chris, you know what it is? It went to the wrong stream. I remember when you used to do that, so I'm learning. So then there was a fun flurry of people posting different things on Twitter from different sites that all had it up about 11, thank you, 11%, and up to about 27. Gosh, did it get as high as 2787? It was pretty high. But so a fun flurry of tweets and a lot of fun things to think about is this really happening, or is this what it's going to look like when silver really takes off? So Chris, can we go to the live price now, since you're so proficient at screen sharing?
I may have hit my mute button accidentally. I don't remember.
Can
Confident
you
in
still
you.
use your mouse button?
Nope.
No.
You're running the show. You want me to score the touchdowns for you, or are you doing it today? What's the deal here?
I'm a really good cheerleader, and I'll work on my scoring game. How's that?
I hope so. Some of these people are counting on you.
You guys get to see me learning in real time. I hope it's the fun thing though is that today I've been sending texts, watching Twitter, having fun with Chris on Skype, and thinking, you know, I know we all have been on an emotional roller coaster. Some people new to the game, some people have been doing it for, 40 years, and some people are hands up excited, and other people are so tired of it all. But won't it be fun when silver actually goes up? Oh, thank you to all of my awesome friends who share information with me even when I'm on TV. Much appreciated. And Chris, thank you for sharing your screen for a minute, and everybody for bearing with me as I'm learning how to be the boss and the host. But it was really fun to just get to see everybody's enthusiasm peak up. And I think it's a fun thing for me to think about because, what do, oh, thank you for the link to Reuters. So I can show you guys
How to win silver?
How to win silver.
Schechtman thought he was didn't realize he's not that great at poker. Was trying to train him before the Arcadia poker tournament, but he insisted on giving me a really nice 10-ounce silver prize. So you could give that away if you want. Might have sentimental value.
Awesome. I would love to give that away. I'm trying to learn how to go into the chat. You guys, Chris is so good at this.
Open a separate window, but hit the mute button. You could go to the main Arcadia page, open that window, hit the mute button so you don't get feedback, but then you can see the questions. There will be a delay, but fortunately you have a time machine, right?
Yes. I have a time machine, my own flux capacitor, a fluffy dog who's waiting for me with tacos. I'm pretty stoked about everything. And
I'm getting a little bored with your show though, I'll tell you.
I know, I'm not don't bring the wow factor like you do. So I realize that, and I'm looking forward to getting the mechanics down so I can be better at what I'm doing.
I think Bobby Hunter was right about those blue blockers though.
Oh, mine are over on the couch. It's not really late enough for me yet. Sorry guys.
Maybe Silver Bill Murphy will come bail you out. Who knows?
Oh, that would be the best. Or is David Smith gonna come and hang out with me?
How would I know?
Because now that I'm you get to be me. You see how that works?
I was on the show, please. It's not appropriate, like your inside jokes and stuff, right? You're doing a show. I'm gonna put the mute button on here, just not distract you.
I'm trying to get to the show. You guys, I am like completely, you can probably see it on my face. I have too many tabs open. So many tabs that I literally just X'd myself out. I'm gonna put the link to how to win in on YouTube. on my phone because I have yet to figure out my navigation. But let's think about how I'm going to choose who I'm going to give a 10-ounce bar away to. So maybe whoever says like the nicest thing to me about how my first time doing a live stream is, or I don't know, be creative. And I will pick somebody in the chat from my phone. Let's see. Is Chris going to play the guitar or be completely useless? Oh, Chris, we have a request. Although your piano is looking so blue light heavy in the background, and since you've got your glasses on, maybe today would be a great time to do a piano jam for us. Oh, sourdough soul. You're doing a fantastic job. You are very generous and wonderful, and thank you. And I think that is a 1-ounce compliment. So please email me. I'm going to try to place the link in here. It's fun watching me learn. Well, thank you. I am a Montessori girl and a Montessori teacher, and one of the best ways to teach anything or to learn how to do something is to try to teach other people to do it. I've yet to do that, so it's fun for me to get to learn so that I'll be able to pass along what I've learned so far to anybody else who wants to learn to go live on YouTube and be a little bit more present in the process. So I appreciate that. And so I guess what I'm going to do as far as pasting this link in here is I'm going to tell you guys where you can email me, and I'm going to say, so far, sourdough soul and Brad Booth. Please email me at yara@arcadiaeconomics.com with just I won on your first live stream, and I will send you the link to give me all of your information. Miles Nelson, thanks for being my cheerleader. I love being everyone's cheerleader, and being on the other side of the equation is great. What I really want to do though is share some silver stats and fun things with you, but my boss is or my I guess now my retired friend is just chilling and waiting. Hi, Colin. So if I keep looking down, it's because that's where I'm checking my chat. So pardon me, but John King could really use some silver. John King, I would love to give you an ounce of silver. And Marco DM, I think I would love to give you some silver too. So I've got four ounces so far. So please email me at Yara, YARRA, at arcadiaeconomics.com, and I will send you the link to give me all the info so we can send you stuff. And thank you all for your kind words and for still being here on this stream while we wait for Chris to bring me more fun things that I can share with you. All right. Where is Chris? Can we do the share sound? And that way, if you can do that, I can give away some more fun silver. We need our form our Voltron together. Colin Gooch wants me to give away some copper for Jeff Curry. I do have a couple of copper ounces. So you know what? I'm going to give my friend Colin Gooch not only a silver ounce, but you're going to get a copper ounce too, Colin. You know how to get a hold of me. Colin is the one who helped us make our app, which I am going to introduce on the show tomorrow so that you guys can all download it and get the first access to the Silverfest landing page that we're about to launch. We are finishing up all of the details with the hotel, and I will have packages and pictures and the event schedule and all of the wonderful things that Chris has planned for us to share with you all. And it will be available first on the app. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I have Silver Royalty joining me. It is Silver Bill Murphy. And yay, I have my silver friends. See, and that's another great thing is the community that we have that I've gotten to be a part of is just makes my heart so happy. I get to come and sit here, chill with you guys while Chris and Nibbles are doing fun things in Mexico, and Chris is getting ready for Silverfest. And I've been shopping for Silverfest, so I'm looking forward to going down there and hanging out. But while he's been doing all that, we've been putting together this landing page, made the app. Our friend Colin helped us do that. So if you guys want your own app, I know a guy. So let me know. But we'll be launching that, and it'll have a special Silverfest 2 tab, which will have all of the deets. And it is, the dates. It's October 26th to the 31st. Yes, there's a Halloween party. Yes, there's tennis, an auction for tennis with Kranzler. I think there's golf with Andy, silver Jeopardy in the pool. I can't even name all the things. Oh, poker tournament. So there's all kinds of fun things. It looks like we've got Bill Murphy's mantle, and I think I see a little movement there. Silver Bill, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome to the show, my friend. It's great to see you.
Oh, I got the call from Chris. I just thought I'd call and say hello.
I feel so grateful. So did you how was your weekend and how are you? And then I'll ask you some questions.
Great. I was out and saw my family in San Diego last weekend, which was terrific. And first time I've been on a plane in 2 years. So I feel like I'm getting back into the scene.
That's awesome. I love San Diego. I've been spending quite a bit of time there, and I don't know why more people don't do that more often. So
it's a great place. We went on a cruise and a night, one of those some kind of boat, and we had a great time, and we had a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I'm glad you had a chance to get away. And I know, these last few years have been really interesting, and we'll see where they go, but it's fun to get to go spend time with family and be at the beach, and maybe even take a little break from all of the sideways silver action of the last month or so.
Anything but to deal with silver for me this year would be a pleasure. I'm the most, as Chris knows, I'm the biggest bull going. I've been so wrong. I've never been so mad and disgusted every day, almost of the entire year. It's been the worst year I've ever had in 50 years.
Well, I think that means a lot coming from you, and I totally can understand where that frustration comes from.
And don't get me wrong, I'm still as bullish as can be, but that's why I get so mad all the time, because it's the most bullish scene I've ever seen in any market ever, and it's the worst action I've ever seen in my life. Don't want to overdo it. That's just the way it is. You have to report on it every day. It's terrible. We're not even at 25 after all this time.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like hyperbole. It seems like from deep in your soul, from all of your experience. And so I actually just got my little notification on my iPhone that shared pictures of when we first met at the New Orleans investment conference and that first dinner we went out to. And it made my heart so happy to see you and Chris and our good friend Joe Grandy, and just, think about the combined amount of years that you guys have spent in silver, and that I know that table is going to be one of the happiest tables in the world when this thing finally breaks, huh?
That is for sure.
Yeah, I imagine the tweet storm and the text messages, especially from Chris, will be super entertaining and fun.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I expect it to happen. I just, life's not getting any longer. I want to see it happen sooner rather than later, like the rest of us.
Well, I put it in order for it to happen before Silverfest, so we can celebrate while we're there, and I'll have our margaritas at the pool and with silver tequila, and get to cheers all of your effort, your long slog of waiting for what is right.
Sounds good to me.
Right? Nibbles is on it. He's got his tail working overtime. So I think we're in good pause.
Well, that's good. Well, I just wanted to check in and thank you for doing all you do. And, I'm behind you, and Just can't wait for some fun to occur.
Well, we've got Silverfest the 26th to the 31st. So we've already got fun on the calendar. And so now it's up to everything else in between now and then to make it even more fun, right?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you.
I'm gonna get going. I just want to let you know, I love what you do and you look great, and thanks for thinking of me.
Well, thank you for joining me. I love and appreciate
Bill,
you.
is that
And look who's here.
Silver Bill? Yara, you booked Silver Bill Murphy, the legend, for your first live roundtable?
I'm so
And
lucky to
live
have such
roundtable?
awesome, sexy friends stop by and talk silver with me.
Bill, I'm a little confused. I'm sure that comes as no surprise. Why does Reuters say 27:48? Now it's 15-minute delayed, but it said this on my screen for a couple of hours. I don't know if you checked your screen. You still never gave me an answer of what the Kitco spot price is, or any spot price for that matter. You've been telling me about premiums. I learned all this stuff from you, Bill. So can you explain it? I don't know that I know exactly what's going on
I don't
yet.
think the Reuters price is correct. I wish it were, but
Why would Reuters say this?
well, just
Look,
go.
it says, Bill, 12:20 p.m. Now the banks are closed. They're on a holiday. So 12:20 p.m. Central Time, September 6th. I don't know, maybe this is last year's price.
Well, I mean, just
It's
go
gone.
check Gold Seek or Kitco or whatever, and you get your price.
That doesn't answer my question. I was talking about Reuters, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Reuters is completely wrong. I mean, it's a joke.
Yara, your guest. I don't know what this guy is talking about.
I mean, just go look at the prices I've been checking for the last.
Bill, I learned silver from the legend Silver Bill Murphy. So I'm asking you,
I mean, yeah, it should be.
correct me, young whippersnapper. Come on.
But the problem is, I mean, what am I gonna
I'm
say?
blocking out this blue light, so maybe I'm seeing things a little differently today. I don't know, but
Well, all I can
First
say
of all,
is-
you're here. I'm going to go get my blue light glasses.
okay. Next, Bill's going to be wearing a parent, blocking all those EMF frequencies.
No, I mean-
Bill, can you explain it, please, sir? Can you get Chris on the phone? Chris Powell? I mean, somebody's got to know.
No, I mean, it's just simple. You just go to the other where the prices you've been looking at every day for years. That's all.
Gar, can you find a guest? It's your company. I told you I'm done with this stuff. I want to go play the guitar now. You asked for guitar music. I sent you a link. If you wanted to compose yourself, take a new sponsor. We're done with these silver companies. I'm not done with that anymore.
I want you to play
Yes, it's so
keyboards while I play ukulele.
So I started a record label. I let you hear the first track before anybody else, and that's still not good enough. Never good enough. I never listen.
I'm demanding. What can I say? Silver Bill, I so appreciate you stopping by. Is there anything else you wanted to add
I
before
just
you
want
go?
to say hello to you both and look forward to seeing you.
You gonna go figure out why that Reuters chart says?
I'll tell you what I'll do. And if I get the
higher?
answer, and if it's close, I'll find a way to get a hold of you. It's not a chance in a minute. It's where it should
How are you
be.
gonna get, Bill?
Pardon?
How are you gonna get a hold of me? I might be on the beach. What if I don't take my cell phone? You gonna call it Nibbles?
Believe me, if it's
He knows
anywhere
how to
near,
get a hold of me.
if it was anywhere near that, you'll hear me screaming from Dallas.
I've heard
Well,
it.
we hope we don't hear you from Dallas. But thank you for stopping by, and we will have more fun chats probably before Silverfest, but definitely there.
All right, good to
Bill.
see you. Thanks for thinking of me. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you,
Thank
Silver
you.
Bill. Thanks for saving the world. Teach
See
the
ya.
others how to do it too. That's a real role model. Wait, Bill,
Yeah,
still there?
I think so.
You think so?
Well, I'm clicking on leave meeting, but I haven't got,
Or just keep
Oh,
one
you're
simmer down there,
stuck
buddy.
in my vortex.
How about I give you a clue? Since you're refused, am I correct that you refuse to explain why the Reuters price says that silver is up 11%, right?
I wish it were. That's
Can you
all I can
explain
say.
this? Why would Reuters leave the price saying it's up 11%, put an advisory? I don't know. Maybe I hacked the internet. Maybe I'm just playing some pranks here. I mean, I wouldn't do something like George
If
Bush
it were
would do.
true, I'd be the
Matter,
happiest
something
guy
like
going.
that. Bill, can you read this, please?
Yeah, it says incorrect data, which is what we just been talking about.
No, can you read it out loud in case there's some people who, maybe they're not seeing things
Yeah, the
clearly either
American
today.
spot price
Read this for your fan club, please.
Yeah, it
I'll
says
pay you, I'll give you all my silver.
the rallies over 10% are incorrect. That's what it says.
I see, mine says a little different. Would you like me to read it for you, Bill?
It's all the same. It doesn't matter. It's incorrect.
Bill, how about you just take a breather and let me read this for you? If the young smartass may help you out a second here, okay?
Go right ahead.
Advisory, alerts on spot silver price rally withdrawn. The alerts were withdrawn. The silver price rally was withdrawn. I'm not sure what this advisory is. As it's interesting, by Reuters staff. I don't know who that is either, but anyway, let's continue. The alerts on spot silver prices rallying over 10% have been withdrawn due to incorrect data displayed on Refinitiv Econ, whatever that means. Please see for further info. No replacement to the snaps will follow. Story number, story date. It's almost as if somebody was having fun in Reuters production room. Y'all remember when we started this episode, you were a little confused because I just threw you in the middle and people could see what you were doing. Maybe I wanted to see it, maybe I didn't. I could be a smart ass. But Bill, my question to you, sir. Here's Reuters staff saying the alerts on spot silver price rally are withdrawn, but let's try and Fahrenheit. Don't take my word. Huh. So it's withdrawn, but let's see what that actually the silver price is then. If they withdrew that.
I take lots of screenshots. They're just all on my phone.
Well, I don't, well, hold on. Let's go to a different browser here where I still have.
There's a couple of theories in the chat that they're practicing for what a rally would look like.
Practicing? Why would they be practicing? Like, kind of like how the Bush administration was practicing what would happen if they flew a plane into the building, even up to the morning of September 11th, when the Bush family was meeting with their business partners, the bin Ladens. Maybe they were upset because Salam bin Laden passed away in that freak airplane accident a couple of years before all that happened. Gets confusing. Where do you begin? When Osama bin Laden was used to help get Afghans out of Soviet, or see, I'm getting it backwards again. Or was it when they got a little ticked off because my dad was from Egypt. He told me Iranians actually loved Americans. I actually, Yara, I had an Iranian woman put up with me for almost a year or two once. So maybe the reason this idea that Iranians are terrorists that hate Americans maybe stem from something that happened in the early 50s when their governmental structure was overthrown. Oh, wow, look, they just changed their spot price. How about that? I guess they fixed it. They withdrew it. Although this is on 15-minute delay, and this is only as of 3:27 p.m. Central Time, which seems like, or C, what is that? CDT. Let's look that up. I don't know what that means.
Isn't that from Office
Time
Space?
zone
They
again.
fixed the glitch. It was a glitch.
CDT is 5 hours behind Coordinated Universal Time, UTC. Okay, well, what the heck does that mean, UTC? Current local time in UTC. See a clock with the accurate time, find out. Well, come on now. What do I gotta look at the North Star here? All right.
I think so. They're making you work for it. They don't understand your style.
Trust me, it's dead as can be. Listen, I gotta get going. It's great talking to you both. I'm out of here.
Okay, bye, Bill.
Bye-bye.
Do you find the leave button? Okay.
I got it.
All right.
Huh, it's not, well, it's only 5:37, not 17:36. So I guess in 12 hours minus a minute, maybe we'll get some clarity on that. It's weird that they had it up all day and then they had that other story. So anyway, that's why you're giving away free silver
I've been giving away lots of silver.
I don't think you're giving away fast enough at the rate that I anticipate.
I don't think
all of
you're
us
watching the
are
chat.
thinking.
I'm all over it.
I don't
but
think
thank
you have time to afford to be talking to me right now. You probably need to be recruiting people to help get you silver into the hands of people who could really use it. So
I'll get you the
people who
silver
work for
any way that I
banks
can.
can't be in position to hurt
Are
themselves
you
anymore.
saying I'm ready to be on the fan? Can get people the silver any way that I can. All right, you guys, I have 3 more ounces to give away. So as you can see, Chris is abandoning me to be with my own devices. So that means I get to do whatever I want without anybody talking inside of me. So I will give silver to somebody who shares. So I want to give away some Twitter prizes too for people. So please like, share, subscribe. When you share it on Twitter and tag me, Yars, at YARRS. And if you're not following me, you should, because I give away lots of things on Twitter. And tag Arcadia Economic. It stops with the C because there's too many letters in economics. So if you're not following Chris, he's Arcadia Economic. And I'm Yars, YARRS. So please like, share, subscribe. And when you share it, tag Arcadia Economic and Yars, and maybe one of your other friends. That would be a nice thing to do too. And I will pick 2 people off of Twitter and 1 more people from the chat. So if somebody is in the chat and wants me to pick them for the last ounce, do something to get my attention now.
Last ounce? What if you're washing up on the beach over here? I don't think you're in a position to make that claim.
Well, I was about to end the stream. If you want to continue to pull the puppet strings from
You didn't
behind,
find an answer.
come back on camera.
On the silver prize?
Do you want to come back on camera? Or are you going to just hang out and tell me what I'm not giving away stuff? You have all. So let's see.
Retiring wasn't clear the other day.
So it's going. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom.
Find the answer while you're doing this. I mean, you want me to be on the screen, or you want me to figure out what the heck is going on? Why Reuters would do something?
Oh, are you figuring out how
you can take
silver?
some questions. Maybe somebody in the audience knows, or maybe someone knows and they're waiting for you to give away that ounce of silver you promised. I appreciate if you honor the promise. I kind of have my name associated with this Arcadia stuff. So.
All right. Well, I just looked down and the first thing I saw was Cristo. So congratulations, Cristo. Thanks for all the hearts, and please email me at the email address I put above with the subject line that I put in the chat. That would be awesome. And you know what? Let's give away a few more because there's so many nice answers here. Oh, so I want to reward people that always hang out and are cool. So Jay, with just the J, please email me, and let's see. I'm going to pick one more, and I'm starting at the bottom of the chat now, so go. Oh, did you find it? Thank you. Oh, beer buffet with the fire and the explosions. That's a good way to get my attention. So please email me as well. This is fun.
Yara, how come
Chris, did you do some
silver
research
market
for
is
us while
open
I was
on
sitting here throwing out silver coins? What'd you find out?
Huh?
What'd you find out while I was throwing out silver coins?
I just found more questions. I don't understand why it's
Oh my gosh, I have a special guest, you guys.
Sign that Reuters still can't. Which Reuters story do I believe? Shouldn't their market be open? This is the price as of 327 CDT. I don't know what that is. Wait,
Well, it looks like we're gonna keep on, and yay, we have a special guest all the way from across the pond.
Elliot.
Elliot, welcome to the show.
Nice to finally talk
Another
to you
guy
guys.
who's been watching too much of this stuff. Elliot, are you here to win the silver prize? Can you explain this? I thought the silver market opened. I know it was a holiday yesterday, but these guys still aren't giving me a price yet. All afternoon, while the bank holiday was on, this is what showed up on Reuters. Actually, not all afternoon. I saw it was up 11.3% at one point. And then they had
Yeah,
this.
yeah, it was 11.3. Yeah.
And Elliot was the
Could
first one
you
to say-
explain this, can you read this out loud for me, please? Now that you're the
Yeah, well-
new backup host.
I've got a couple conspiracy theories. One is that the Benham
I
gave
asked
Reuters.
if you could read this out loud, please, and then you
Oh,
can talk about conspiracy
Of
theories.
course,
We have
of course.
etiquette.
Advisory: alert on spot silver price rally withdrawn by Reuters staff.
I think it says advisory dash alerts on spot silver. Can we start from the beginning for anyone who's just
Okay.
joining now?
Absolutely.
Reading a secret.
Advisory dash alert on spot silver price rally withdrawn. An article by Reuters staff. The alerts on spot silver prices rallying over 10% have been withdrawn due to the incorrect data displayed on Refinitiv Icon. I think that's their version of the Bloomberg terminal, basically. Please see for further information. No replacement to the snaps will follow. Story underscore number, colon, story underscore date, colon, story underscore time, colon, 1719 GMT in brackets. And then it's giving us a link to bangalore.newsroom@thomsonreuters.com. Our standards, colon, the Thomson Reuters Trust principles. That is a whole lot of words sort of telling us nothing other than the fact
Can
that
you explain the story underscore number in capitals, colon, story date? It almost seems as if, they knew about a lot of this stuff in advance and been maybe MK Ultraing with people's minds, and maybe they're a little nervous right now, and that's why they're with their publication. I don't know.
I don't know how they've come to that price, because I saw it on Twitter from someone who tends to do these financial things. I think it's like Walter Bloomberg, the Twitter account. He always posts these things. But then I went on CNBC. You go on the silver futures. It's
I don't
know.
Elliot.
Oh, right.
You know how I feel about CNBC.
Okay.
I contacted the person who writes the stories about JP Morgan getting arrested and asked if she would check if anyone in the organization had any issue with Jeff Curry committing felonies. It was crickets. It was like us calling iShares or something. So now here we have Reuters says 27.44.
Yeah.
It does say September 6th. I don't know. Maybe it was last year's price. Here it says 24.67 with a 15-minute delay, 327 CDT. And then here it says this, which I don't understand. Which Reuters story should I believe, and how do I know which one to believe? Can you explain that, please? If anybody would like the silver. Yara, boot this guy off here if he's not going to give you answers. Maybe.
Okay.
He was
I got a
the
long
first
shot.
person to post it on Twitter with the caveat that it was probably a glitch. So I'm going to give him a little time. So why don't you back up?
I've got a conspiracy here. Okay, Chris.
Sure.
I don't know if this is right, but this is it. This is what I think it is. Okay. Benham, he contacted Reuters. He says, guys, next weekend, when the market's thin, we're going to let silver jump up. Okay. And Reuters, because they're incapable, they didn't read the date correctly, and they did it this weekend, this Monday morning. And that's what's happened, basically. They've put up the silver price ahead of time. And now they're backtracking, like, oh, no, nothing happened. We definitely didn't mislead investors. So that's all I think. I mean, I don't really know these guys. They've always got something covering themselves. But all I know is that these 2 silver ounces, which you guys were very kind to send me,
Yay.
are
I got a 10
just
ouncer
fine
coming
where
your
they
way too.
Oh, thank you very much. They're going to add those.
It's from
to
my
the stack.
personal collection, so it's not shiny because I like to hold them. But go on with your conspiracy.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, these are awesome to hold. I mean, you got to hold the silver.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, the market regulator may have said, we're gonna spoof it up this time. I mean, the banks, I think now the COT report basically shows they've gone that long. They've got no interest in keeping the price down anymore. But we'll see. I don't really know what's going on with Reuters. I mean, I don't want to mention CNBC again. But I did go on there.
He's not even listening.
Oh, you ran away. Okay, I don't want to.
Fine.
Anyway, there were like 21-minute candlesticks, which were all green. So I saw someone said, oh, maybe someone got a really poor fill at the close or something, which can happen, but it just struck me as weird. And it wasn't. It was on Thomson Reuters, obviously. It was on CNBC. It wasn't on Yahoo Finance, but I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. Probably, as Nixon said, like those pesky international speculators trying to destabilize the dollar through the silver and gold speculations. So.
I know, it's probably just an accident, right?
Yeah.
It's like when JP Morgan put out their sell notice about commodities right before, or at 4 a.m, right before everything dropped. Those are
Yeah,
just
yeah.
coincidences.
I think was it the silver squeeze in February they put out on the miners. They put out some like they downgraded the miners or the mining sector. It's like, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Totally. Well, definitely didn't benefit anyone in particular, did it?
No, I'm certain they don't have interests whatsoever. I'm sure they've never violated any market integrity or anything like that. Oh, wait, no, they did. They did multiple times. They got fined almost $1 billion. And I don't think anyone of notoriety really got punished. I mean, they will eventually, but yeah, no, I mean, it's odd what's happened today. I don't quite know why. I wish I did. It could be foreshadowing.
You're always quick on the draw with the charts to point out what's going on. So as you've been watching stuff recently, what is your take from what you've been seeing as, being maybe more routine and quickly, or I don't know. I'd love to get your take on that, because I know that you pay close attention.
Sure. Yeah, I always find the volume interesting because, well, that's one of the first things I did. I got up my my screen. I was like, oh, okay, if this price has gone up, I'll have a look. And the silver futures market was actually closed, so it didn't show it. And everywhere else I looked that had a silver futures price basically didn't say there was any adjustment. It was only it was weird. I don't know what it was precisely, but yeah, I mean, in terms of volume, I mean, obviously you had the non-farm payrolls on Friday. That was a big spike in volume. If I'm going to go back to that now. I was at work at the time, so I didn't get to
I
see
talked to Kranzler about that a couple of weeks ago when he was on the show, and he said those numbers are 100% BS, and two, that it doesn't matter what they are. Whatever the numbers is, they're going to use it as an excuse to pound metals.
He's right.
Like, I kind of had very little, not that I don't have interest, but it's, if we already know that it doesn't matter what they say and they're going to smash metals, then it's really just fun with headlines, right?
No, absolutely. The numbers are pretty trash. They've like with the CPI, they manipulated that to underrepresent inflation. They do the same with unemployment numbers. They like use 6 and other things which take out people who are like part-time, who want to go full-time. They don't include that as unemployment, or people who have been searching for jobs for so long, they just give up, and all those other metrics. And it's a pretty bogus metric. But it's interesting to know, because essentially what tends to be the case at the moment, if it's a miss, i.e. there's not enough jobs created, the markets or the market participants, the idea is that supposedly the Fed will not taper for longer. Now, of course, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure the Fed can't taper at all. They tried to, with $4 trillion on the balance sheet, with the lowest unemployment in 40 years, a record high stock market, lower corporate taxes. Trump had done his lower income tax, right? That was like 2018, and the end of 2018, and the market dropped exactly 19.7%. And if it goes down 20%, it's a bear market. And Jerome Powell comes out and says, yeah, we're going to continue buying assets with low interest rates. So my question to all these guys, about all these mainstream guys saying, oh, they're going to taper, like it's like a snap and it's done, is that how if it couldn't be done then, why can it be done now? Because of all the issues they faced then. I mean, and even I can't remember who I watched talked about this. Probably someone on the Arcadia Economics show a while ago. But like even people like Ben Bernanke, in like many years ago, wrote an academic paper saying that it's in the interest of them to keep the market afloat, because then if you're a worker and the stock market goes down 10%, now you think, oh, maybe I'll lose my job, maybe I need to save more money, and then that's less consumption, because that's how the Keynesians think about it. So. I mean, yes, that's basically what happened with the numbers are pretty, they mean nothing to me. I mean, I don't trust them at all, but clearly if it's a miss, then a lot of people pile into the silvers, like silver and gold. So exactly at 1:30 p.m. my time, like, let's have a look, 1,703 silver contracts traded, net buying. I can't tell how many were buying and selling, but the price went from 24 to like 24.50 in like 2 minutes, which is impressive. And on the gold side of things, and that's a 5,000 ounce silver, by the way. Each contract represents 5,000 ounces. And then on the gold, it's a 100 ounce gold bar, and there were 7,100 contracts bought. So, but yeah, I mean, the numbers are pretty. They're what the government wants to give you.
like 2 minutes, which is impressive. And on the gold
I
side,
think I can hear
Oh,
myself.
Chris is gonna
Oh,
play
it's
us some
Chris.
background music, it sounds like.
Okay, nice.
that's a 5,000 ounce silver, by the way.
Hey,
Each contract
Chris,
represents
we can hear the your background music too.
gold. It's 100 ounce gold bar. There was 7,100 contract.
Live YouTube, guys. You get all
It's,
the awesomeness,
The numbers are
It's-
pretty.
It's a precursor to Silverfest with the music. This is
right?
what it
I
is.
know. I'm so excited. Are you going to be able to join us in person?
I want to. I can't say for certain because for me, final year of university, it might not be possible.
Your background music too.
Gold, it's 100 ounce gold bar.
But
There was 7,100.
I muted him.
oh, there we go.
Chris, turn your other window off and then play us music. So your final year of university.
Yes, that's correct. And unfortunately, I think.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So far, it's going all right. Doing quite well. And there's actually a chance next year. There's a master's program in America, George Mason University. It's
Oh, cool. I'm from DC.
yeah. I didn't even. It's in Virginia, but it's actually like
Yeah.
literally DC. It's literally.
Oh
DC.
yeah,
I
it's
didn't
right
even
across the
realize.
river.
Yeah, exactly. But that's actually one of the main things they do is Austrian economics, and
Oh,
they're very prestigious for that kind of area, which I take an interest in. And there's also experimental and public choice theory. So yeah, I mean, I might be in America next year. I would love to come to Silverfest. It's unlikely given the timings because I'll have I got like weekly seminars and tests to do.
you can't
But I
like
would.
phone it in to your school so that you can come and party with us in Mexico. Seems like kind of a very Silverfest thing to do.
True. I genuinely will see. Actually, it's not off the books, and I'll try and make it happen because I'd love to meet all you guys in person and all the guests as well. Because I mean, a lot. I think I started watching. I think I found Chris's channel May of 2020, which is really unfortunate because I'd love to have been able to get in at silver at like $10 an ounce. But yeah, I mean, it's been.
I met Chris, I think silver was around $14 an ounce because he said, did you know that most silver miners are that silver is trading at the same price it costs most miners to dig it out of the ground? And that was the beginning of this. And so I think it was about $14 at the time.
Yeah, I mean, when I say 9 or 10, I mean like the intraday low of the March crash, which is a bit unrepresentative of where silver was. But yeah, no, it is interesting. I mean, and going back to your main question with the volume, I mean, it's Asia right now. It's thinly traded. I always see it as like, for some reason at 2 p.m. exactly, there was a spike in contracts, but no major price moves. It tends to be under the COMEX when all the price smashing happens, and CFTC Benham just making sure it happens. So yeah, I mean, he's absolutely correct, that man. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean,
we went to go talk to him, but he wasn't even there.
He wasn't even there. Did you check?
When we sent them our stuff, if I had faxed it, well, I did. I faxed it and I emailed it, but I called the lady to make sure that they received it. And she said that there was no one in the office. So there was a good chance that it was potentially collecting dust on the fax machine. And I was like, wow, I'm really glad I emailed with the PDF as well. But I mean, that was kind of what's been going on over there. At least, as of every time we've tried to get really a hold of them, they're either not in the office or they're working from home and not in the office. Or Chris is wondering if perhaps there is something going on and they just can't talk about it, which I've gotten the feeling of a few times from my correspondence with them as well.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic win. Yeah, I saw a post about that saying like, yeah, he could be actually collecting information for a big sting operation down the road. Who knows? But yeah, I mean,
operation. Yara, I asked you to get someone on the show. I retired last week. I didn't know if you were ready. Sometimes I can't trust my own judgment, but I asked you to give away silver to someone who could explain this. And while everything this brilliant man said was obviously brilliant, all right, I'll pull up the Reuters story again. You're going a little off topic.
Well, we get off topic because that's more fun to come back full circle to topic. So we digress.
Okay, can you please give away some silver to anyone who can explain which of these stories I should believe?
I'm asking in the chat.
Elliot,
Yeah, man, I'm trying to come up with an answer, but it baffles me really. I
well, I
don't
gave you
know.
the keys to the recording studio, so call your friends if you have to. Yarl will help. I'm gonna go back to playing the piano now. I'll leave this up for you.
Phone a friend. Okay. We're gonna we'll crack down on this. We'll
I
figure
have
out
a
what's
lot of
going on.
friends. Is Rob still in the chat? Rob, are you in the chat still? Do you want to come on and explain what we should be listening to? Rob? We'll see if he answers. I can, Rob, if you want, I'll send you a link. But I don't know. I would go with my gut instinct, which I think it was sort of what you were saying, Elliot, which is it was useful to have that out there for someone's purpose for some period of time. And they'll say it was an accident. What do you?
Yeah. I don't even know how it's happened because it wasn't just Reuters. And there was
no,
a couple
it was
others.
on. I have screenshots of numerous different sites
Yeah.
and people posting them on Twitter. And
Yeah.
so I'm not really
but-
seeing anything in the chat
But
here.
if there's any condolences, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised one day we wake up and like that is actually what happens to the silver price.
I know
And
you can hear,
surreal.
you know how happy that day is going to be for Silver Bill. Did you get to see the first part? I mean, nobody's going to jump out of bed like
Yeah.
more excited that day, throw open the shutters and like almost like when Scrooge like has his change of heart and like he loves everybody and starts buying people presents. Like I feel like that we're going to get to have all of that kind of moment with some of our friends who have been dealing with this as long as we've been alive.
Absolutely. I mean, it's crazy to even envisage because I've been doing this for like a year now and having exposure to the silver price.
How's your blood pressure?
Yeah, I know, right? But you know what? I think I'm coping fine now. But I mean, just imagine for years this constant sort of repeated and blatant manipulation in the short term on the charts, and then I also think in the long term with the whole market structure, which Benham likes to say is really good. But yeah, I don't want to get off topic from Chris's thing. We've got to figure out what's going on with this Reuters. I mean, it was 11.3%, and then it dropped to 11.17 or something. That's important. That's a big deal. That's
down 2 cents. Down 2 cents, Elliot.
Yeah. I mean,
at least
what's going on?
327, which you still have yet to define for our audience. I think they're a little confused.
Okay, well, I do have a good answer in the chat, which is that the Reuters terminal is a source for the other sites that were posting that. So Lawrence, so Wiki, thank you for your answer, and please email me so I can thank you in a tiny silvery way. Yes, I'm giving silver away.
If he or she knows what Peter Hobson of Reuters might think about this conundrum. I don't see his name on any of these things yet, but I look forward
Lawrence,
to
do
reading.
you know about what Peter Hobson would say? I'll keep you posted, Chris. Go ahead.
Actually, I've got something here. Actually, see if I can show on my camera.
You should be able to share.
Yeah. I should make sure it's just the right one. This is on my desktop. Look at that. Look at that mess. Can you see that? It goes up like a little staircase, and then like this. So there's exactly like 20 minutes of green candles, and then all of a sudden, I don't even know what they're trying to show me. But
this is an unprecedented chart.
Yeah. What is this? I mean, is that Benham selling as silver? I mean, don't know. I really don't know.
I would imagine he'd be off for the day, but you never know. Chris, do you have anything to say about that one? Or are you gone again? Chris. All right, it looks like we lost Chris again, or he left. Chris wants to know what is Reuters, which I guess would be another great question is where does all this information, like, does it start at one computer somewhere and then whatever happens there, it's just that's the way it is until everybody corrects it? Or it would be great if there were multiple sources. I know we've been talking about making our own physical silver price index, but I don't know if that's just something that you would still have to, it would be an aggregate of like a lot of other people's information. So I am not sure. Oh, Elliot is back. I think I might have lost people. And welcome back. Somebody here said Chris has gone back to the Matrix. Hardly. He's out there like unhooking the peoples, which although now that he's retired, he's probably just chilling with the dog and playing the piano. Elliot, are you back all the way? Well, I will give away an ounce of silver while my friends come back. So let me see. I'm going to give an ounce of silver. I'm going to look up and then I'm going to look down in 1 minute. And the first thing that catches my attention, you're a winner. And also keep liking and sharing.
Am I back? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you anymore though.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, literally. My laptop, I think it's from sharing the silver price, Shara. You're not allowed to do that nowadays. You can't.
No. Oh, I see. I see.
And
Your
it
laptop just died.
It killed itself. Yeah, it died. It just died on itself. It was charging as well. I can feel it. It's really hot. So I don't know what's going on there. So unfortunately, I'm on my desktop now, but I haven't got a camera. So
no worries. So I've noticed that when I'm in the middle of like really juicy silver texts back and forth with especially group ones, my phone like wigs out or it will drop stuff. It's just like when I used to do Reiki sessions over the computer, like or if I would do like a distance healing on YouTube, oftentimes it would short out the system. So sometimes things are just like too hot for circuits, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the silver inside of the computer was jealous of the silver price and just, that was it. It was done. It wanted to be a coin. But yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say with the Reuters situation. It's weird that it happened to just silver and like nothing else from the looks of things. And the explanation they gave is just complete nonsense. It doesn't make any sense to anybody. Except for if we can see someone who's got a good comment. I don't know. Have a look at the comments.
So congratulations, Max Frost. I looked down and I saw your let's go and like, yeah, let's go. So let's go and send you an ounce of silver. So please email me. And you know what I would love to do for everybody who is in the chat is if you want like really awesome got silver gear, like Chris and I and a lot of our friends rock, you can get 15% off of everything that is in the store underneath our YouTube window or on our site by using the code got silver all. I think it's all in caps, but it might not be cap specific. It's either proper case got silver or all caps got silver, but one of those should work for you. And so if you do want to get some got silver gear, especially pre-Silverfest, although I am about to make our Silverfest stuff now that we have our logo and are putting up our page. So I will have specials on Silverfest gear too. But in the meantime, I guess getting back to like the volume and Reuters and all the stuff that you've been watching, Elliot, what do you think is this week is going to look like for us? Any predictions coming from your experience in your world watching?
Oh,
and I won't hold you to them. I just, like, what would you expect after seeing like a weird thing like today?
Yeah, it's kind of. It is weird. I remember thinking, I didn't post this, but I remember thinking this with the payroll numbers. Either, obviously, if the price got smashed down, it's going to be. I was going to say it's probably the last time we'll see. It won't be below $24 silver for a very long time after that. You got that few dollars. I think now we'll get a big spike up from a low 24 to as high as like 24.8, 24.7. I would be surprised to see silver below 24 for a long time now. I could be wrong. I could, of course, be wrong. There could be some massive volume which sells, stop losses get triggered. I mean, it was really blatant the other day. I tweeted about it. And it was literally as Chris was doing a video saying a lot of people getting stopped out around the $23, $24 level. Mm-hmm. And you can literally see in the volume on no economic data, no Fed speak, no nothing at all. all this volume is just coming to the market. And I believe, I'm no expert, but I believe that basically with the spoofing from the futures chain, you have loads of bids or asks coming into the market to sell or to buy, and it basically that then drives the price lower, triggering people to be stopped out, which is then shown in the volume. So the volume chart is shown as what's actually traded. It doesn't
Right.
show you necessarily all the trades that are then cancelled. So some of these traders who put in trades, most of them don't get filled, then they cancel them. And doing that is against the market rules, because it's the result of it forces the price in a certain direction. And it's basically like me going to the market saying, oh, I want to buy 100 oranges, and then buying 2 oranges and leaving. And everyone's like, what the hell's going on here? And it spikes the price in between, if that makes sense. So, and there's always key levels. So whole numbers, 24, 23, 23 and a half. Then I'm not a chartist, but I know those guys do like the Fibonacci retracements or the trend lines and stuff. So it does depend. I mean, I think time is on the favor of gold and silver investors, because the transitory notion, you can only say it's transitory, in inverted commas, because there's no way it's transitory. But you can only say that for so long until people realize you're crying wolf. And
what do you think the term limit is on transitory? Well, because didn't Nixon say it was temporary back in the day? So I mean, temporary into the transitory, that could be eternity, right?
Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, it's just he did say it was a temporary suspension of the convertibility of dollars into gold, or Federal Reserve. I don't know what the precise language was. I don't want to get that wrong, but it was temporary.
That was before I was born, so maybe I'm just like a temporary being on this planet right now.
Yeah, I mean, since it was temporary, he's died. So yes. I mean, that is not very.
There's that too.
I mean, who knows? I mean, there are some people saying like one of the solutions could be, assuming the Fed has the gold, but it says it doesn't. The government has the gold. It says it does, even not the Fed, the gold. The government, is that they could back the debt and the dollar by gold at like 10,000 or 15,000 an ounce. Like some people like Jim Rickards and others have postulated they could do that. But then it brings out the question: do they actually have the gold? And also, they don't want to give up the fiat game that it's massively in their favor. But also,
free money game. Why would you give that
exactly.
up?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know that there's a G.I. Joe episode where they get either protect or get the gold back for Fort Knox? As
really?
Yeah.
Those are just paper gold. That's basically it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in G.I. Joe land, everything,
sure.
We're American heroes, and so we would obviously have the gold. We would never say we had gold and not have the gold.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you.
That's why they had to rescue it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you who really has the gold: China, India. Well, I think the old saying is like Indian housewives have more gold than all the central banks in the world combined.
I bet that's true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's that part of the world. Turkey, they always like to buy gold in Europe because they tend to have high inflation issues, 10-15%. I mean, this year, like their official inflation, we know to be dubious of such measures, is like 15%. So.
I'm half Armenian, and every one of my aunties had more gold on than may be in Fort Knox, and that was just like going to church potlucks.
Always. And my mum knows some people there. Like they always say like at weddings, at birthdays, at holidays, and always give gold.
It's a great gift. But you know what I like to give people? Silver. So let's pick another winner. Are you watching the YouTube chat by any chance?
Put it on my other screen. I see a few messages.
Would you like to pick a winner? Hey, if you guys want to win another silver ounce, get Elliot's attention somehow. Maybe tell him that he's awesome and that you appreciate his insight, or just say anything pro silver. And Elliot, I'm putting you on the spot, but you get to pick a winner.
Wow, okay.
And there's no pressure. There's no wrong winners. We love to give silver to everybody.
Okay. Have a look.
Unless it's somebody I've already given silver away today too. Just not that we don't want to double up, but I want to spread the love around. So
I understand. I think Jenny Alicia, she's been commenting a lot.
Yeah, she has been commenting. She has won a bunch of other prizes on YouTube, but let's give her a silver ounce anyway, because we do love to give people who are persistent stuff also.
Yeah,
So
why not, why
nice
not?
pick. And Jetty, way to work your magic on Elliot.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean, yeah, no, it's awesome. And I have to say to both of you, thank you very much for my my 2 silver and the other 10 coming as well. It was awesome. I didn't expect it, and it's always nice to have it in the hands, because I mean, these coins you have, you can even hear it. Look, it's
I can hear them.
the old silver ting, beautiful. Yeah. And if you have 1 ounce of silver, you've got more silver than my central bank, my country's central bank. You've got more silver than Canada's central bank. Pretty much all central banks, you've got more silver than them. That's a pretty big flex, if you ask me.
Right on. Well, we love to give silver to our friends and to our new friends, our old friends. And I am so super grateful that you came on the show. I know you're going to be doing some more fun stuff with us, maybe research wise, to help us even better lay out the fraud that we're all watching every day and make somebody pay attention to it. Stay tuned. We're also going to have a really cool, like fun interactive way for people to get involved with the show and with ending the silver manipulation.
Absolutely.
So
anything I can do, let me know, and yeah, I'll be there for that, sticking around and joining in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
all right, well, awesome. Thank you for joining me today. Stick around for 1 second. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody else. Chris, if you're watching and you want to pop back on and say goodbye, please do. Now's your chance. But thank you all for joining us today for this fun silver chat and giveaway. And also for my inaugural live stream. You'll get to see my progress as I move on. I do remember back in the day when this was new for Chris too. And so it makes me feel very honored to be able to get to have my own little journey on here. Not that Chris isn't going to be on. Please understand when he says he retired, I'm not letting him stop doing the show. With the show and with ending.
Absolutely.
So
Anything I can do there, and yeah, I'll be there for that. sticking around
Elliot, you
and,
can answer the
joining in.
question that we brought you on here to answer.
yeah.
That would be nice.
I'm looking forward to that.
Elliot,
too.
can you
All right,
hear
well,
Chris? He's back. Around for 1 second. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody else. Chris, if you're watching and you want to pop back on and say goodbye, please do. Now's your
Elliot,
chance.
are you
But
going to
thank
answer
you all
any
for
of the
joining us today
questions
for this
here?
fun silver chat and giveaway.
My
And also for my inaugural
theory,
stream.
my best theory, okay, and obviously I've got my silver foil hat on here, but it's that someone at Reuters likes silver. That's all I
All
can
right,
say.
I have the right background screen up here. So as you can see, it's like, imagine the tables have been turned. You know, these guys are always watching us, you know, so fine. People just live as if God's watching. It's a good way to be. Because then no matter what you go through, whatever you heal from, if you have a good heart, all comes through in the end, which is the nice part. Yara. So, hey, Yara, this kind of looks like Josh Lown. You see that?
Where? Oh my
That
gosh,
guy.
yes. Josh,
Elliot,
if you're
are you gonna
watching,
pop
we
your
found
video
your
back on,
doppelganger.
buddy?
My laptop died with the camera, but I can speak. I'm afraid. I'm sorry, I haven't got a camera.
All right. So Elliot, all right, since you refused, I love you, brother, and I appreciate all your support for the show. You might be one of my most belligerent guests yet. You outright refused to answer which of these stories I believe.
Oh,
I
to
even
believe?
asked you what would Peter Hobson say, and I Googled or I ducked goed Peter Hobson silver, and there's a couple things that pop up. Now, Reuters seems a little sketchy based on today's performance. Yahoo, they're publishing a guy from Reuters. But GATA, that seems like a more reputable site in my experience. You saw Bill Murphy on, at least he shows his face and name to the things he says. So, Elliot, do you want to read any of this for people? I'll give you a 5 ounce. Actually, you know what? Elliot, maybe you're up to this. Maybe you're
I
left
don't
to find
think-
someone else.
I'm not sure if you can see it on this one.
I can see. Hang on.
Oh,
there's
you
that,
can? Okay, cool. I just didn't know. what
Sorry,
to-
you know, this was the coin I had with me when I was going through a medical procedure a couple of weeks ago to
I
heal a lot
do.
of stuff from
wow.
childhood, which silver has those healing properties. So
And that Korea coin's pretty sweet. Oh, I want to get mine. Mine's different than yours.
Massive.
there's even
Yeah,
like
massive
a
medical use of
red
silver.
emerald peak in there somewhere. Elliot, it's quite profound. Although I would be willing to trade this to you because I love you that much. If you'll read this story for us, please, since you refuse to answer the other questions.
All right, absolutely.
Elliot, you can upgrade from the 10-ounce bar to that.
I love that. Yes, please. Yeah. Only if you're okay leaving it away, because I think it's a pretty cool coin. And
Mine has a blue lake.
Yara,
Lovely.
can you
Look at
show
that.
me the other ones I got? The mountain ones?
No, I'm doing an unboxing and you can't see them yet.
Better bring those when you get here. Or else I'm sending you
Let
back to
Elliot
you.
read, please.
You want me to
Elliot,
read
come on, bro.
the Garda? Yes, of course. Okay, so can
Oh,
Reddit's Silver Apes beat the market? Submitted by admin on Saturday. I don't even know what is that date. Depends on the. Oh, okay, yeah, Friday, July 9th, 2021, by Peter Hobson, London. Kerry Cracker, 56, has worked in kitchens all his life. Since March, he spent around $100 a week, half his spare cash, on silver coins. He's part of a growing social media movement who say they are buying bars and coins for protection from a coming age of inflation. And I'm part of that group, of course. Thanks to a community of like-minded silver stackers gathering on social media platforms, Reddit, Seattle-based Cracker says he also feels empowered. They are so encouraging and so convinced in the changes they can cause, Cracker, who lost his home in the financial crisis, told Reuters. Inspired by Reddit forum Wall Street Bets, some of the 122,000 strong community hope to corner the market and bring down what they say is an unjust banking system. Yeah, well, state the obvious. I mean, it's a Ponzi scheme. Market professionals say it is unlikely to succeed. Well, of course they do. They've got a massive net short position. There is plenty of silver. There isn't. And central bankers in the United States and Europe expect inflation.
Read the article, please, Elliot.
Oh, okay, no commentary. Sorry. And sorry, let me backtrack for the listeners. Many market professionals.
Elliot, for anyone who may be joining late, this is the same Reuters that today had says silver's down 2 cents, although they haven't updated in at least a couple hours. They also said this earlier. Then they had this weird glitch in the matrix. But is that the same guy? I don't know. This is just computer screen. But anyway, where were we? Here? Let's go to the rest of the Reuters report. Don't take it from.
Okay. Oh, hang on, I can't hear you very well.
You can just keep reading, Elliot.
I'll keep reading,
of
course.
Yeah.
Market professionals say this is unlikely to succeed. There is plenty of silver, and central bankers in the United States and Europe expect inflation to stay in low single digits. For the remainder of the report, click here. And that is the Reuters report. I mean, that last line is pretty funny. Oh, here we go. Here we are. Can Reddit Silver Apes beat the market? London, July 9th, Reuters. The 7-paragraph contains language that may offend some readers, like inflation.
I think we'll be okay. We all
Yeah,
were
yeah.
there with Chris in the JP Morgan
Oh, absolutely.
parking lot. So
I mean, I think, insensitive language is saying like inflation is transitory, and it's a good thing because some people say that, and it's that upsets me because it's not true. But I'm just waiting for it to light up again. I can't see it right now. Here we
there we
go.
go.
Market professionals say this is unlikely to succeed. There's plenty of silver, and central bankers in the United States and Europe expect inflation to stay in low single digits. But bankers aren't getting through to this group. There's a bit of anger, like F the system. If there's a backdoor to wealth,
Come on, man. Which one am I supposed to believe? I thought you were going to read the real stuff. We're being serious now. Come on. There's no banker that dumb that really expects inflation to stay in low single digits unless they're reading Reuters or listening to Jerome Powell and Ben Bernanke. I'm sorry for interrupting. Continue, please.
No, of course. I get to. Yeah, there is a bit of anger, like F the system. If there's a backdoor to wealth, I might take that door because the front door is closed, said Cracker. The bankers and others have basically shut that door for everyone who is not themselves. The core of the movement is a Reddit community called Wall Street Silver. Formed in January at the time, Wall Street Bets was marshalling an uprising of ordinary people against the financial elites through coordinated buying of company shares. Reuters spoke to more than 20 members who call themselves Silverbacks, and Apes have a homepage featuring an image of an army of primates on the march from the Planet of the Apes movie, saying things like ape-like shiny. They organize raids, days on which everybody buys together. The group's founder, Ivan Bayuki, is a 24-year-old former car salesman living with his parents in Alberta, Canada. Now is the time to wake up and take the power back from the hands of the people. And take the power back in the hands of the people, says one of his characteristic posts. Silver costs
Elliot?
around... Yes. Oh, sorry, I read ahead on my screen.
Professor Ivan Bayuki, 4-year-old former car salesman living with his parents in Alberta, Canada. Now, I wonder if saying that, if you said the group's founder was Jeff Curry, 55-year-old, soon to be convicted felon working for a disgusting cult named Goldman Sachs that sponsors this shit, people would have a much different impression probably, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a smear, really. I mean, I wouldn't, I've seen his videos. I mean, starting out saying he's a 24-year-old former car salesman is like, well, technically
All
true,
matter of
but
perspective, as they say, I guess.
yeah,
right?
it's all about the framing, because they've put that in there because that immediately is the attempt of discredit, and therefore what these guys are doing is nonsense sort of idea. If they said, oh, prestigious 30-year banker who is a criminal, as we said, but they started with, oh yeah, prestigious banker who was the head of the head of Goldman Sachs commodities division, was heading up Wall Street Silver. They take it differently, but yeah, I mean.
That's funny because that's the same thing Jeff Christian tries to say to discredit Andrew Maguire as calling him a former used car salesman.
Yeah,
that's just, oh, we'll disregard this person.
Yeah, if you can't interact with them on an intellectual level and actually debate the points they're trying to make and just go to insults, then you've already lost. It's just an admission of losing. But if you start slinging insults rather than pointing out what is true or what's not and trying to make a reasonable argument, then So yeah, and he also called us that good old clip, which is now it's in the history books of I could have a motorcycle crash and have a better understanding of the silver market than most of these guys. So that was Jeff Christian.
Yes, absolutely. Chris, are you still there? Do you want to tease your upcoming Jeff Christian video?
I was trying to let you run the show and let your guest read the article, to be completely honest.
Because you always stay so well on topic. All right, Elliot, let's finish reading, and then we'll bug Chris about Jeff.
Silver costs around $26 an ounce. Well, not according to Reuters, it costs more, or maybe it doesn't. We don't know. Reuters is all over the place. Stackers think the price will rise as inflation erodes the value of currencies, demand for silver rises, and supplies run short. Some say that buying up bars and coins, they can jack up prices by 100% or even 1,000, to the point where they can cool the
I've heard
shops.
Jeff Christian say something like that.
So they can call the shots against the so-called bullion banks, the large financial institutions which lead trade in precious metals. A March post pictured silver coins laid out to spell a message to the head of JP Morgan Chase & Co., a US investment bank which dominates the bullion trade. Kiss my ass, Jamie Dimon. JP Morgan declined to comment.
You want to say that one again just for fun?
Say it, everybody with me now.
Kiss my ass, Jamie Dimon.
One.
Kiss my ass, Jamie Dimon.
Kiss my ass, Jamie Dimon.
Kiss my ass, Jamie Dimon. Elliot, you sound the coolest. Chris, you sound like a rock star. Mine sounds a little bit weird.
Move on to more important things, please.
In a year or two, we will have millions of people in the movement, Bayuki told Reuters, and then it will be over for the bullion banks.
May I interrupt rudely for a moment?
Of course.
Based on what you know up to this point, who do you trust so far? This Bayuki or Reuters? Who would you listen to, and how do you know?
Well, personally, I trust Bayuki because, for one thing, he doesn't post fake news about the silver price. He puts across.
I think that Reuters posts fake news about the silver price.
Yeah, they giving out fake news saying that it's gone up 11%, and they're saying it hasn't gone up 11%. I mean, which one is it, Mr. Writer? Come on.
Yeah.
Reuters isn't even a guy, or maybe it was at one point, and then it got corrupted. Who knows? But let's continue with the article so we can wrap this up. I know it's a holiday weekend. We should get people back to their families and more important stuff.
Absolutely. Corner the market. That's a single sentence right there. Prices of silver and gold, which are traditionally seen as safe stores of wealth, have risen since 2019. Gold is up around 40% and silver around 70% since then. The silver stackers are joining millions worldwide who believe currencies are vulnerable, a fear that has grown as governments borrowed and printed money in the pandemic. Mainly printed, because I don't think anyone's lending government money, but it scares me every day when this bomb will burst, said Tim Hack, a 23-year-old stacker in Germany. Silver and gold really have intrinsic physical value that you can even feel when you hold it in your hand. Posters on Reddit joined the silver fray on January 27th when posts appeared on Wall Street Bets saying that if enough people bought the metal, they could push the prices to the moon. Corner the market, said one. Adding to the impetus was an argument put forward on Reddit that big banks trade huge quantities of paper contracts for silver that they don't have in their possession, keeping prices lower than they should be. Well, that's true. At least Reuters published that part. In some ways, that's. Oh, I didn't see that next line. Blimey, okay. Contracts representing around 800 million ounces of silver are active in the New York futures market alone, more than twice the amount the exchange says it has in its registered vaults. Not all of which is available for delivery, which is absolutely true. Rob Keynes and others do great work on that.
Yes.
Much of the silver that banks buy and sell in London, another big trading hub, is borrowed, bankers and traders say. Yeah, of course it is. It's fractionally reserved, and we know why.
Elliot, could you, I didn't hear this part. Could you read, my internet connection must have been cutting out. Could you read the highlighted part again, please?
More than twice the amount the exchange says is in its registered vaults, not all of which is available for delivery.
I must not be getting the reception clearly. Could you read that again, please? Seriously, give me the full version. I don't want like the doctored, funny, like, I think you're brilliant, but let's just stick to the script right now, okay?
More than twice the amount the exchange says is in its registered vaults, not all of which is available for delivery. Much of the silver that banks buy and sell in London, another big trading hub, is borrowed, bankers and traders say.
Wait. Even the bankers and traders are admitting all of this? Maybe you should read that again so people let that sink in. If you'd be so kind. I'm trying to.
Of course.
Thank you.
Contracts representing around 800 million ounces of silver are active in the New York futures market alone, more than twice the amount the exchange says it has in its registered vaults. And of the 400 million it has, not all of them are available for delivery.
That's unusual.
Much of the silver that banks buy and sell in London, another big trading hub, is borrowed, bankers and traders admit.
Huh. Unusual.
Hmm.
And then the next paragraph says, if every professional who owns silver on paper called in their dues at once, there wouldn't be enough metal on hand. They agree. The system works.
Sorry, I'm not going to do that one again, please.
If
Maybe
every
3 times you could.
Of course. I know the connection can be up and down. So if every professional who owns silver on paper called in their dues at once, there wouldn't be enough metal on hand. They agree. The system works because most people with contracts don't want actual metal, which they'd have to pay to store and insure. They are speculators, miners, and jewelers hedging their risks. Or they're bullion banks manipulating the market illegally. I'll say it again just in case the connection was bad, Chris. If every professional who owns silver on paper called in their dues at once, there wouldn't be enough metal on hand. They agree. The system works because most people with contracts don't want actual metals, which they'd have to pay to store and insure. They're speculators or miners and jewelers hedging their risks, or they're bullion banks breaking the law, manipulating the price, and then laughing about it on their little chats, which we found through the legal discovery process. Like, we are the silver market.
Sure, Rospi's on that.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Stop busters.
The stop busters. Who are you going to call the stop busters?
And the hammer, the blade.
Oh, the hammer and blade. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and it's always the same time though. It's like they're having like a meeting, like 11 a.m. That's when we're gonna smack it down. And yeah, that's after this post on Wall Street Bets, around $3 billion rushed into a fund. Oh, this is a fun part. Into a fund run by asset managers BlackRock that stores silver from investors. Now that's not completely true because we know a bit more than that. BlackRock said it added more than 100 million ounces of silver to its stockpile in 3 days.
Elliot, You talking about these guys?
Yep.
Sorry for that whole. Just to confirm, so you're looking for performance information around the silver ETF?
I guess you could say that, although more specifically, I'm confused of how the price of silver came down 10% when you guys had historical amount of metal on a second.
So did you mean that BlackRock? I know there's a BlackRock silver as well, so sometimes they get confused, but why don't you just finish up the article and we'll wrap this one up, okay?
Absolutely. I do believe it's referencing that BlackRock, which you had a conversation with. Of course, I don't know this article mentions that the custodians and the counterparties.
It does, right here.
Ah, it does, okay.
Because, Elliot, before you read this one, can you remind people who might be new to the show about how the banks have to comply by that? It's called KYC, Know Your Customer, for anti-money laundering protection. So it's either if you're going to launder money for the George Bush cult, and you're on one side of the fence, you play with one set of rules. But which BlackRock do you think told Reuters it doesn't even track where the money came from when it got to
I didn't even
That sounds
see
kind of shady to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust someone that does stuff like that.
That's BlackRock, one of the largest asset managers in the world, and they are admitting that they do not track where the money had come from, which is, I think that'd be important when also you got to then go, supposedly, according to the prospectus, they are supposed to add the equivalent cash in ounces to the SLV trust. We saw massive demand for SLV. The price went up. Sorry, no. The price went down, even though we had massive inflows. That was the key part, which is counterintuitive. And so, yes, the London Bullion Markets Association (brackets LBMA), an industry body, later said that there had been some concerns that London would run out of silver.
What? Stop it now. Stop it. Stop it.
I thought that was a conspiracy
Elliot.
theory.
Wait. Let's read some of these again so we don't leave anybody confused.
Of course.
Start here, please.
Absolutely. After the posts on Wall Street bets, around $3 billion rushed into a fund run by asset managers BlackRock that stores silver for investors. BlackRock said it added more than 100 million ounces of silver to its stockpile in 3 days, which is a pretty mean feat because someone calculated the trucks like 50 full trucks of silver. In the time, the silver's wholesale price jumped nearly 20%. Much of the silver stored for BlackRock is in London. The London Bullion Markets Association (brackets LBMA), an industry body, later said that there had been concerns that London would run out of silver. London would run out of silver.
What?
Wow. So London was on the verge.
Being rude to your guest.
Quit. Highlight the next part.
BlackRock told Reuters it did not track where the money had come from. But the London Bullion Markets Association, an industry body, later said there had been concerns that London would run out of silver. So they're concerned about their running out of silver and they don't know where their money's coming from. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Family forever. That's what it says. The Redditors group founder Bayuki said he watched with growing excitement.
Elliot.
Oh, right.
Stay with the script, please.
Sorry. Much of the silver stored for BlackRock is in London. BlackRock told Reuters it did not track where the money had come from. BlackRock said it added more than 100 million ounces of silver to its stockpile in 3 days. Silver's wholesale price jumped nearly 20%.
Now let's go back into the left.
The London Bullion Markets Association, LBMA, an industry body, later said that there had been concerns that London would run out of silver.
Now, Elliot, imagine if someone were just hopping in here new and they're like, I don't know what's going on. It feels like a Ponzi scheme. And it's almost like people are revealing their true colors of who's on which side here. Because there's a lot of things that are kept in secret, hidden, which is how Ponzi scheme is usually orchestrated. And there's some people that even the embarrassing moments of their life, they would broadcast it if they felt that was what was required. So anyway, why don't you take it from here and then we'll finish this one up.
Of course. BlackRock told Reuters it did not track where the money had come from. The registered group's founder Bayuki said he watched with growing excitement, turned to his father and said, "Why don't I start a Wall Street silver community? Family forever." There's also truth in Reuters' claim that big players can influence the silver market. One trader tactic is spoofing, sending out fake buy or sell orders to shift prices before completing the real trade. I gave an example with like the orange market, like me going up to the orange market and saying, "Oh yeah, I want to buy 100 oranges," and then like canceling my orders and walking on.
Please, sir.
Sorry.
Some people get back to their parties.
Okay. One trader tactic is spoofing, sending out fake buy or sell orders to shift prices before completing the real trade. In 2020, JP Morgan paid $920 million to US authorities to settle charges.
Please, Elliot.
Oh, okay. There's also truth in Reuters' claims that big players can influence the silver market.
Wait. Reuters said that too?
Yeah, they clearly didn't edit their article very well.
They're saying a lot of stuff these days, but let's let people get back to their holiday. I'm wasting time. I go to plan one of my tangents again.
Chris, are you going to let Elliot read? Or are we
Shall I
done?
go to the 2020, the big fat fine paid? Look at that. To settle charges that its staff sent hundreds of thousands of fake orders into precious metals and treasury markets. The bank said at the time that the people responsible had left and it had improved its compliance system. It declined further to comment for this story. Of course it did. The bank said at the time that the people responsible had left.
Which bank?
JP Morgan Chase paid $920 million to US authorities to settle charges that it sent hundreds of thousands of fake orders into precious metals and treasury markets. The bank said that at the time, the people responsible had left and it had improved its compliance system, which is funny because Jamie Dimon's still there. It declined further comment for this story, but the impact of spoofing lasts only seconds or minutes, said Ross Norman, a London-based former.
Did Ross Norman ever say anything pretty contradictory to that? I'm sorry. But you can check on. January squeeze.
The January squeeze lasted 3 days. Then Wall Street bets returned its focus to the stock market. Silver calmed. Wow, that's an interesting causation they're trying to establish there. That the January squeeze lasted 3 days. Then Wall Street bets returned its focus to stock markets. Silver calmed. Since early February, the price of silver has fallen by $1. Undeterred, Wall Street Silver issues a deluge of tips, analysis, memes, photos, and encouragement. It's only Reddit's 3,783rd largest community, but it's frequently in the top 20 for volume of posts per day, because we're an awesome community that's very active. When a new member posts, Bayuki would often respond saying, "You are now family forever." Do you want me to go on?
I'm just hanging out in the chat. Chris apparently is still boss. So,
but I like how they say here that the January squeeze lasted 3 days. Then Wall Street bets returned its focus to the stock market. Silver calmed, as if that was the reason why silver price dropped from $30 to like 28. That was why. That's why it happened, and nothing else could have possibly caused it. Nothing suspicious on the volume.
Yara, I just got Bobby Hunt mail.
I know. Like, we got it at the same time. Hey, are you proud of us?
Elliot, Yara, you're interrupting your guest. Let him speak.
Oh, sorry.
It's like you listen to too many Chris Marcus Arcadia videos or something with the way you're handling this. I don't know what's going on.
Reddit buyers sit at the end of a fat silver pipeline. Only about a quarter of the 1 billion ounces or so that are produced each year is used to manufacture the bars and coins that most of them are buying, analysts say. Most of the rest is used for jewelry and in industrial application. Michael Mezerich, who runs the world's largest silver and gold and silver refiner, Valcambi SA in Switzerland, says that 1,000-ounce bars of silver used in the wholesale market are plentiful. For small investors to think they can call the market is entirely wrong. Well, I'd like to challenge Mr. Mezerich. And
should I trust you or Michael?
Well, who am I? I'm just a little, I'm a nobody, really.
Flip a coin.
I trust?
Flip
I
a-
choose Elliot.
How do
Flip a
I
silver
know
coin.
to trust when I hear multiple things, especially if someone seems a little wacky? You know, some of those crazy
Yeah.
people.
How would
Maybe
you know if
just
somebody was
make your own
wacky?
decisions, right?
Yeah, I mean, my way of
The
determining is
marketplace incorporates all of the opinions, no matter what they are, no matter where our perspective may view them on a spectrum of legality, morally, honestly, or ethically. But maybe it's good in life. How do you know when your doctor is giving you good advice or not? But
Well-
come on. Almost
yeah,
done.
of course. Michael Meserick, who runs the world's largest gold and silver refiner, Valcambi SA in Switzerland, says that 1,000-ounce bars of silver used in wholesale markets are plentiful. For small investors, think they can corner the market is entirely wrong. They can engineer a squeeze on products, he said, but silver in total, they'll have a hell of a time. Investors will stockpile a lot of silver this year, but less than in 2020, according to consultants for Metal Focus.
You believe that?
No, I think that's a load of BS. Yeah, I mean, no, keep stacking. Demand in the West is strong, but in India, one of the biggest silver consuming countries, the pandemic is reducing the people's ability to buy. That confuses me because they just said that investors will stockpile a lot of silver this year, but less than 2020. But surely those in India were locked down last year.
Again, let's get the whole thing in context. At least Reuters is doing.
Investors will stockpile a lot of silver this year, but less than in 2020, according to consultants Metals Focus. Demand in the West is strong, but in India, one of the biggest silver consuming countries, the pandemic is reducing people's ability to buy, they say.
Huh.
Well, that's going to change, isn't it? And yeah, I'm not familiar with these Metal Focus people. They're like CPM Group by any chance? Funds like BlackRock stockpiled 331 million ounces, the most ever in 2020.
Allegedly.
Metals Focus says in a report for the Silver Institute, bar and coin buyers took home 200 million ounces more. This year, the consultant expects funds.
Elliot, have you been drinking? You're not making.
Oh,
any
sorry, I'm reading I've got it next to me because you were lagging
Take it
earlier.
again. Take it again. Let's
Okay.
reinforce the wording.
From the top. Sorry, guys, my first time. I'm sure.
You're perfect. He's just a perfectionist.
That's fine. I appreciate it. Investors will stockpile a lot of silver this year, but less than in 2020, according to consultants Metals Focus. Demand in the West is strong, but in India, one of the biggest silver consuming countries, the pandemic is reducing people's ability to buy, they say. Funds like BlackRock stockpiled 331 million ounces, the most ever in 2020. Metals Focus said in a report for the Silver Institute, bar and coin buyers took home 200 million ounces more. This year, the consultancy expects funds to hoard 150 million ounces, the second highest level ever, and bar and coin buyers 253 million ounces.
Yara, can you read that back so Elliot can now close his eyes and hear that?
Sure. Investors will stockpile a lot of silver this year, but unless, oh, hey, hold on, something more important just happened. Let me bring my friend onto the show and then we can read this again with his help. Because I'm very excited to welcome our friend James Anderson.
Uh-oh, this.
I know.
Oh, come on, bro. I was concerned about me the other night.
Okay.
Although as you know, I've been concerned about him. All these silver guys, they're a little loony.
That's why I love you guys.
What is this guy doing? What are you skiing down?
Hi.
Where do we hit the
What,
slopes,
man?
bro? James, you wear those gloves into the pool at Silverfest?
It's cold up here in the Highlands, my friends. Very cold today.
I'm in the Highlands too, but a different one. So it's nice, nice to see you in our respective Highlands.
Good to see you
All
guys.
right, Yara, would you please read this to James?
Yeah, would you please share your screen again? Thank you. James, I'm going to read something and then I'd love your feedback or your reaction.
Sure.
Investors will stockpile a lot of silver this year, but less than in 2020, according to consultants Metals Focus. Demand in the West is strong, but in India, one of the biggest silver consuming countries, the pandemic is reducing people's ability to buy, they say. Funds like BlackRock stockpiled 331 million ounces, the most ever in 2020. Chris, can you move your mouse, please? Metals Focus said in a report for the Silver Institute, bar and coin buyers took home 200 million ounces more. This year, the consultancy expects funds to hoard 150 million ounces, the second highest level ever, and bar and coin buyers 253 million ounces.
James, I'm not sure if I just turned my company over to a woman who's been drinking. So could you pop me this?
I kind of coming in and out. I can't hear you exactly what you said, Chris. Try it again.
He wants to know if I've been drinking or if that's actually what this says.
That's not what I said.
Oh, well then I didn't hear you right either. Please enlighten us then again, Chris, if your connection allows.
I would like James to read the highlighted text if he's capable.
Oh,
Okay. I'll read it. Investors will stockpile a lot of silver this year, but less than in 2020. According to consultants Metals Focus, demand in the West is strong, but in India, one of the biggest silver consuming countries, the pandemic is reducing people's ability to buy, they say. Funds like BlackRock stockpiled 331 million ounces, the most ever in 2020, Metals Focus said in a report for the Silver Institute. Bar and coin buyers took home 200 million ounces more this year. The consultancy expects funds to hoard 150 million ounces, the second highest level ever. And bar and coin buyers, 253 million ounces.
That's unusual. Well, fortunately, they touch on the inflation aspect next. So hopefully Jay Powell is right and the inflation's transitory. Otherwise, it seems like a lot of people connected with this story may have a problem. But Elliot, can you finish us off here, please?
Of course. This story was corrected to add the dropped word million.
From the top, please, sir. Silver coins and
silver
bars.
coins, of course. Silver coins and bars can certainly hold their value. Higher inflation should lift prices, as will rising demand from makers of goods like electronics and solar panels, said Rona O'Connell, an analyst at traders and brokers StoneX. I actually got a bar from StoneX. But she and others at companies that trade the metal think predictions of $1,000 an ounce are out of this world. Of 39 analysts and traders polled by Reuters in April, only 7 thought silver prices would average $30 or more in 2022. The highest average that they forecast was $44.
I'd take that for a day or so.
Yeah, why not? Redditors are unmoved. Kraker, the restaurant worker, has begun reading obsessively about inflation, money supply, and other economic data. There is a monster around the corner, he says. I'm trying to sharpen my stick. This story was corrected to add the drop word million in section.
Well, let's be clear here. This guy's a restaurant worker who actually buys the food that people eat. So clearly his opinion is not qualified as the guy who corrected to add that dropped word million in section 2. Section 2, that's a little vague. Kind of like this press release explaining how the silver price, even though the market's open, yet all day long, they were showing it up 11.12, 11.3%, updating. Now it's not updating. They have this story number, story date. It reminds me of the bizarre code that you see here. I mean, I don't know, if I got something off by 2 million ounces, I'd be a little embarrassed if I didn't explain my mistake and let people be at risk of making decisions that might harm themselves. So I'm sure that Peter Hobson and Reuters would never let that happen. And James, I'm going to go do some research, but do you know what the silver price is? I'm seeing diverging numbers from Reuters, and I don't know what to believe. This one doesn't seem to be updating, though.
Yeah. You sent me that earlier today via an app that we share together on our phones, and I was wondering what the hell that meant because I went and looked at the price in the spot market and wasn't there. So I wonder what happened with the website.
James, but you're the silver expert. You're James Anderson of SD Bullion. I mean, you actually sell physical silver, so you're probably closer to what's happening in the supply chain than these guys who can't even put their name on these stories. So wouldn't your opinion at least have more experience and to me, a better reputation. I mean, you tell the truth all the time, at least as far as I've seen.
Yeah.
So should I believe you or Reuters or Peter Hobson or this quote or that? How do I know what to trust? I'm asking for your help.
Chris, I would suggest the price of physical. That's really the most important thing for most listeners and viewers out there. Obviously, people can play in the derivatives.
You sound like you've been watching too many American movies this weekend. You were up late on Saturday night, weren't you?
I was, yes, yes. But yeah, the price of physical is what matters to me most, and probably to most listeners out there. Both bid and ask, and we've seen really good premiums on both sides of the market for years now, and the tightness has been there. So, I mean, we see silver eagles that sometimes being sold $12, $13, $14 over spot retail, which is pretty obnoxious. And then you turn around and you can sell them in a wholesale volume at $6, $7 over spot. So that's not too bad, not too shaky. You're still selling them in the 30s, and they're claiming silver spots in the 20s the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, the physical silver price index is what we deal with as dealers every day. And people who are buying silver, that's what they're paying.
Yeah.
So does the spot price really matter? Because I've noticed as the spot price goes down, that doesn't necessarily mean that the premiums go down. That you end up pretty much paying the same price per ounce per coin, it seems to me, regardless of the paper movement. Is that kind of?
Yeah, if you're just a retail buying onesie, twosie, 10-ounce bar, 100-ounce bars, the type of retail products, you're going to get pinched by the squeeze and the fact that the industry just doesn't have the capacity, because it's just been a boom and bust cycle, and the 2010s was so awful for many refiners and many of the dealers, a lot of consolidation. And so with consolidation means you have a lack of capacity. And with a lack of capacity means when demand comes in overwhelms, what are you going to do? The best way to defeat that or defend that is to jack the price up and see, how you can get away with it in terms of what you can charge for things. It's been pretty drastic in terms of premiums for the last few years, no doubt. And it's turned away a lot of people. It's difficult in some regards because it's so, it's confusing. You walk into silver and gold market, it's like, well, they claim silver spot is 24, and then I go to try and buy the stuff and it's 30s, that doesn't make any sense, And,
Right.
and the explanation is very long and sorted and difficult to explain. And for the spot price market, if you're going in the wholesale market and you're going, over the counter, or you're one of the major authorized purchasers of SLV, and you can change your SLV shares into physical and withdraw it from London, et cetera. Yeah, then you can get silver at a ridiculous price of, spot plus whatever it costs Brinks to deliver it where you want, or whatever it costs Loomis to do that. But for most investors, for most average people, for most even millionaires out there, they're buying sovereign bullion coins, they're buying silver bullion rounds, they're buying 100-ounce bars, they're buying 10-ounce bars, et cetera, et cetera. And that goes for most people. Unless you're like a 20, 30 millionaire Scott Menard type guy, maybe he has 1,000-ounce bars, or, we're talking about like the situation that what's his face Warren Buffett did in the 90s, when he came in and bought 130 million ounces. So there are maybe potentially some large players that'll do that, but for the most part, this is it's Labor Day, and I think the working class out there is buying a lot of silver. I think that's the point. The blue and the white collar working class, people who want to save their hard-earned income. They want to make sure they're having something sound, and that's what it's kind of a populist movement in that way.
Totally. I noticed that the premiums on constitutional silver were super wild for a while, but seem to have pulled back a little bit. And I've noticed a lot more people loading back up on that. Have you noticed that a little bit too?
Oh, for sure. And we have, good networking in terms of, there were brick and mortar dealers in the United States, older guys who were here the last bull market in the 70s, and they have an old shop, let's say, and they have a lot of their savings sitting in 90% coin. And a lot of times you just pick up the phone and call and see if they want to unload some with you. And, you come and strike a price on the phone, and then, have a sale on your website. And that's a pretty simple affair that happens a lot in our industry. And it's been happening more and more of late. And I also have charts, so I can just look at general charts of what the premiums are for junk. And it gives you a feel. Junk is, I know it's a bad word, constitutional silver, 90% silver is really, it's one of the bellwethers in terms of knowing how tight the physical market is. if the premiums are really rising, that means the bullion dealers and the brick and mortar shops around the United States, those guys are seeing street level action, and they're not looking to give away their 90% without having someone pay through the eye.
I saw the premiums around $9 for a while during silver squeeze. Like they were cray.
Yeah, in percentage terms, it peaked on, at least on the chart I'm looking at right now. It peaked in the first major fiasco for the pandemic in Q1, Q2 into Q2 for 2020. But then there was a dead cat bounce that happened this year. So, if you look at the chart, it's like a huge spike, and then it dead cat bounces and does like a half retracement, a spike as well. But it's rolling over, like you said. The premiums do seem to be going down. The demand maybe not as high as it once was, and the supply levels, adequately at a level where the premiums can be dropped a little bit, and the dealers have to be more competitive on price.
Well, I definitely love having that as part of my collection of silver, as far as not only the historical value, but the potential fungibility of being able to use it and its recognizability. And also, I mean, the fact that money used to be money is something that I really like to feel in my hands,
I like one time a couple of years ago, working with Tyler at SD Bullion, I was at the offices and we were talking about, how sometimes people have this argument about like, should I shine my junk? Should I, can I clean my junk silver coins? And it's like a lot of people say, no, just leave the grime on there. Don't worry about it. And I wanted to test it, so I went out and got like a jewelry shiner, like one of those, with high industry beads and stuff, and it's inside of like a rolling. Yeah, you get it on Amazon.
Ceramic. It's kind of like a rock tumbler, right?
Yeah. You get it on Amazon for like $100. And so I did that, and I did it with mercury dimes, and all it is just hot water, like 3 revolutions, and washing it with just Dove soap, essentially, in hot warm water, and you just let it roll for like an hour, and you do like 3 different rounds of that, and by the time it's done, it literally looks like it just came off the mint. Like it literally looks like brand new coins that you'd see a Las Vegas casino in the 40s or 50s or 60s. It's so pretty. Yeah, if you look at it really closely, you can see the dings and dents or whatever. But for a minute, if you just blur your eyes, it's like, wow, man, this used to be what we used for just coinage around town. You could get a lot done with a few quarters. Pretty amazing.
I love silver's eternity. I showed this on another show, but this is supposedly from like 1355. Oops,
wow.
I dropped it. And I mean, you can see it's still so beautiful.
I'll move my screen. Got all these windows open.
I'm having a hard time getting the light to hit it at an angle where you can see the detail, but cool, it's pretty amazing.
Where's it from?
Bulgaria.
Oh, that's cool.
It's an Ivan Alexander Grosh coin.
That's great.
I know, but we have our own American version of that, it's where our money came from, and when it was money, and it still is, and that's why silver is so awesome. So I definitely appreciate the constitutional silver as part of my collection.
Yeah, it's cool because you get to learn about history, about different empires, and who was in power, and how were they managing their monetary systems, and how long were they powerfully using sound money, and then when did they go off the rails, and every country has a story like that. If you do enough research, almost every country had sound money at some point or another, and then they lose it typically. Like I was just in Turkey for a quick day, and I passed through Istanbul, and I'd never been there, and the place was mind-blowing. And some of the temple, the really big one that's like 1,500 years old, was built by the Byzantines. I don't know if you know about the Byzantine Empire, but they were gold coin sound for like 800 years. They were rock solid. And this, you walk in this temple and it's like 6 stories high, and I guess they built it in 6 years. I mean, it just blows your mind. Yeah, 1,500 years ago, they're building something like that in 6 years. Like just there's a church in Spain that they've been building for like 300 years still. It's like, yeah, it's just
the Sagrada Familia.
Yeah,
totally.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing how old some cities are, and then their history is, and you see it in person, and it does so much more justice than any book could ever do. When you see something in person, you actually walk through it and live through it and smell it and see it in person. I always walk away from something like that with my mind on fire.
Totally. Piece of history, but also like you were saying, it's the money of empires.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
kind of, if you look back at anybody who was good at conquering anything, it was because they either were getting the gold or had the gold.
Yeah. And they're
In general. And they
ransacking.
paid the people in silver.
Yeah, ransacking, paying the people in silver and making it sound so the soldiers wouldn't revolt. And as long as they were paid on time, they would follow orders, So
And that was long before we had these paper markets that were easily manipulated by volume to make people think that it wasn't worth anything. And so people understood the value of the metal.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and even it found its way into the language as well, because like French, for example, argent is money and it's silver.
Mhm.
So I mean, but yeah, I mean, those old empires like ancient Rome. I mean, the moment they start debasing currency, if they don't reverse their course within a couple hundred years, their empire's in tatters, completely destroyed. They can't pay the soldiers. They have massive inflation. Like there was the third century crisis. There's a massive inflationary period because the soldiers paid like 10x in like 20 years because they just kept on debasing the currency, kept on expanding the government rules and regulations and so forth. And this is interesting. This is like the original sort of price control. It's in Michael Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money, so I don't want to plagiarize from him, but they had to do price controls, and then the people in those industries where there's no money to be made then moved where they could make money. And to stop that, they made the if your dad was like a baker, your sons had to be a baker as well. You couldn't change profession because they would have bread shortages or wheat shortages, or because the price controls was below their cost basis. It costs you 10 sesterci to produce a loaf of bread, but the price control says you have to sell it at 5 sesterci. Well, you can't make money, so you've got to do something else.
Produces when that happens, and then everything goes in vanishes in shortest time.
Yeah, exactly. And then everything just trades on the black market anyways. And it's carnage, basically.
Yeah, the word silver, whether it being formal or in slang, it literally means money to billions of people around the world. I mean, in Portuguese and in Brazil, it's prata. In Argentina or Colombia, plata. Vos tenés plata. You have any money?
Yeah.
That's what they'll ask you in Argentina. And Colombia will say, tú tienes plata. You have money.
Yeah. I was actually in Spain a couple of months ago with family, and that's where I actually saw some constitutional silver. I managed to pick it up just in Spain, which is crazy. But
in Spain?
This is Mallorca.
Oh, cool.
But with families, lovely to go there. But basically, in Palma, it's one of the main. They only have a couple of shops, but silver coin shops. But obviously, they're in Spanish, and on each coin, it's got like a little cardboard holder, and it says plata. And then it will specify like 1921 Morgan dollar or whatever.
Sure.
So I managed to get all their Morgan dollars, peace dollars. There's 2 of them, and I got a 1918 D half dollar, which I thought was a good deal.
So
Cool.
the Mexican pieces of 8. I don't know if you know what that looks like. Mexican silver pieces of 8. They were the first silver currency that like basically globalized world trade. And they were minting it out of Mexico and mining it from Peru and mainly Bolivia. And so when you go to some of these Spanish coin shops, you can tell by the mint mark whether or not it's struck in Mexico or Peru or in Spain, et cetera. And it's pretty cool. I mean, the whole thing is just interesting. And I guess in 1600, 1700, like Mexico City was baller royale. It was like where all the important, talented artists were. And they were all wearing like incredible silk clothes from Asia, and because they finally figured out how you get the silver back from the Philippines without dying back and forth. So,
That's a bonus.
Once you
a good point though. Silver is worth, like they saw it as being worth dying for. Get that.
Think about if you're a merchant class and you can get over there with your silver. That think about how much China was willing to give them in trade and in work, and you bring that stuff back and you could charge an arm and a leg in Mexico City. I mean, they were doing this huge trade in Acapulco. It was a really cool story. There's a really long South China Morning Post, I think, article. It's like a 4-parter. It's like an award-winning article on this subject. But I'm acting as if I wrote the story. Not true.
You're a great storyteller, whether you wrote it or not.
But the story is really long and interesting, and it basically established global trade. And silver was the thing that did it.
It's always cool because you can, from archaeology finds and so forth, you can always see how far that currency spread, right? Like the pieces of 8, like they dig up like in a completely other separate part of the world,
those are the coins people wanted, either for their purity, how they were respected, or just the trade in general. And I think, my understanding is that the US dollar was sort of formulated off the purity of the Spanish dollar to compete originally. So,
Same weights. I think that they copied the exact weight because in the United States, for the first like 70 years, 60 years of the country, we were basically trading Spanish silver. That was a dollar essentially. And then finally they got their act together and made the US Mint and started making our own coinage. But that's why you don't see that many coins from the early 1800s in the United States. It was mainly Mexican stuff, and that was moving about.
Yeah.
And isn't that why the quantity of silver is the thing that was important, not the coin, as far as the value? Like,
Oh, totally. Yeah, and it was explicitly defined, like in the Constitution, they tell you exactly how many grains.
it's like 0.37.
Yeah, they do not use grams or troy ounces. They use grains of silver and gold. And if you look that up, it's like grains to troy ounces in explicit language in Google search, it'll tell you exactly what that is worth. So
371.25 grains. A constitutional dollar equals 371.25 grains of pure silver, which is the same as.
Well, that's something that Ben Bernanke would never define. Whenever Ron Paul would just poke him with that one.
Yeah.
Because we can't define what a dollar is, because legally they just have to call it a fiat Federal Reserve note or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in defense of Bernanke, and I don't really want to be doing that, but technically he wasn't dealing with dollars. He was dealing with Federal Reserve. Yeah, exactly. So just to give perspective, is that the 371.25 grains of pure silver is the same as 77.344% of a troy ounce.
Wow.
To give perspective, but they did the same for gold, so that's exactly what it was, and that makes sense, because if you're copying the Spanish, it's
if you're holding a silver dollar in your hand, it does feel like it's not a full 1 troy ounce like an American silver eagle is, but it's still pretty heavy. Still pretty.
Oh yeah.
I have a silver dollar necklace that I like to wear, but then every once in a while, it's kind of like I'm already wearing a lot of silver, and it gets I start to weigh myself down between all of my crystals and silver. Sometimes I walk around probably like 8 pounds heavier than I need to be. So when I take it off, it's kind of like the people who wear ankle weights and then they go running when they take them off. I'm like, I am light and free as a bird, but I like to have silver all over me. So but my silver dollar is one of my favorite necklaces. So
that's cool.
I actually got it as a necklace so I could wear it all the time.
Oh, it's got like a holder in it and everything.
Yeah, I actually got that. That was my personal souvenir from our CFTC rally for 420. We took a trip to a local coin shop, all of us together, and we bought coins for everybody who was there. And the one that I wanted was that, and I was like, this is my memorial, but also just a piece of American history. And we were in DC, and it was like blocks from the clubs that used to X our hands and let us in when we were like 15. So it just felt really good. I was like, oh, I'm getting into a cooler club, like the Silver Eagle Club, or the Silver Dollar Club. But
we got to get over to India. I bet their silver jewelry selection's got to be top flight.
I'll lead a silver yoga adventure to India anytime anybody wants to go. Like after Silverfest is over and I can think about more things, that would be a really fun one. I know that there's mines that we want to go visit all over too. But I would love to go on an Indian treasure hunting trip and lead some yoga along the way.
Yeah, I bet they've got some beautiful pieces over there. I mean, that's just for millennia they've had it, but the gold and silver jewelry, to this present day, they're just the biggest importer, or them in China basically.
It's probably I would guess it's still probably India if you added up every ounce. They probably China, I would think. They've just been doing it for millennia.
Well, it's like written into all of the ancient texts. I mean, like it's a part of everything. I mean, the vibration of the metals, like everything about them. So, I mean, I think that as an educated society, I would, without having been there, hasten to guess that it's kind of more ingrained in everybody's consciousness there as much as in their physical possession.
It definitely can be passed down by just simply the way the culture kind of passes down the energy and vibe and outlook of doing that regularly.
Totally.
Did you guys see the story about the Indian smuggling on Market Watch last week? It was a pretty good story. This guy wrote one talking about, first off, India's on pace to import about 1,000 metric tons of gold this year, which is nice. So it's a nice comeback from the last few years with wedding seasons being locked down. And then the picture is kind of shocking for the article. There's a guy with a shaved head and a bag of gold dust on his head. And then there's him just sitting there with the wig on. And I just I laughed at first, and then I thought, poor guy. Like, could you imagine how scary that would be? Like to have to do something like that? Like, it's just horrible, like these people are smuggling it on their body and in their body cavities, etc. And he said that there are estimates that 20% of the gold that gets into India every year now is being smuggled in. And the reason is simple. It's a 7.5% duty and tax on gold and silver. And if you do that in large enough scale, you can actually save and make more profit by doing that. Than
the arbitrage between the
the arbitrage by doing it, fairly and squarely. So,
well, I mean, in the UK where I am, we have a 20% VAT on silver, all silver. Terrible. So you talk about, like premiums and stuff. Like even if we get low premiums, we are our cost base is immediately 20% premium fixed in no matter what.
Yeah,
because of it.
That's always been a problem with the EU. It's terrible for silver. I mean, obviously, fine gold is VAT free, but
yeah, absolutely, and actually, it's capital gains tax free as well.
That's pretty great.
If you get the for Britannia, so the British ones, or the UK Romans like the Britannia or the bars, they are capital gains tax free, which is actually a pretty big deal, I think.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Oh yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Gold and silver moon, and you don't have to pay those fiat currency taxes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a shame with silver. So it's always hard for me to get silver. Like at a good price. But I mean, before we left the EU, it's weird because I think it's the Schengen agreement or something, between the borders you can't have tariffs. So I would have to buy from Germany or Estonia, and then they would ship it over. This is the farce of it all. It would be Britannia coins minted in London, shipped over to Germany, right? So the Germans could then sell it back to me.
Yeah,
and it's probably put back on the same blooming boat or airplane, then shipped back over to be delivered to me, just so I could avoid the tax. Like, what has that accomplished? I mean, it's ridiculous.
I've been in the industry for over a decade now, and like I've done work with segregated vault storage, even facilities over in Germany. We did one time, and it backfired on us because the United States started really coming down with FACTAs, and they were spooked and scared. They thought that their American clients were going to it was going to be a problem for them, and they were thinking that they were a bank. Loomis is not a bank. It's a glorified secure depository service. It's basically like something you see in like a tax-free zone right next to an airport. I mean, it's all about logistics and people with a gun on their belt, just covering the warehouse. It's a bonded warehouse, and just making sure no one steals anything out of it. But the point being is that we use Germany because it was a VAT tax-free zone. So we could get people like high volume storage there in Germany, close to home, and then the only way the VAT gets hit is if you actually pull it out of the VAT-free zone. And so some people like that idea, but then, the other half of the crowd is going to say, if you don't hold it, you don't own it, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, I mean, we all understand that, but it's also kind of crappy to buy an investment and immediately down 20% because the VAT, but
it's pretty true. I mean, the only upside is that I'm on like Facebook groups or whatever. When you sell it secondhand, like you don't sell it back to the dealers in the UK because they basically give you just over spot. You don't get your money back. But on these secondhand markets, you kind of can recoup some of it just because it's the market rate, really. It
makes sense on a retail level from like person to person direct. You can definitely get a higher premium for products. The key with that is you just got to be aware of fraud, because
absolutely. That's the problem. It forces people into the riskier, less legitimate ways, and I'm sure people have been ripped off because of it, and that's a real shame.
Yeah, the other thing about that, Elliot, is that people, when they get ripped off, they're usually embarrassed. They don't tell anybody. I mean, that's the other thing. You don't hear about this for the most part. You fractionally hear it occasionally, but like most people go around bragging about how stupid they were, accepting a PayPal payment.
Exactly. No, I mean, always going through the legitimate dealers is the best way to go.
There's a couple suggestions you can make. You can do cash on the barrel but that's dangerous because you're showing up at a place with something.
There's always risks.
And then there's bank wire transfer, but then somebody has to trust the fact that when they send the bank wire transfer to you, you're going to actually, then turn around and ship it immediately. So there's always a trust level. Always a trust level.
the only good thing with some and one of these groups, and they usually you have to have people vouching for you when you sell, like previous people, and they're very strict. But ultimately, if someone really wanted to betray someone's trust, they could, and it's unfortunate. But I've been fortunate so far. I mean, I managed to get most of my stack sorted without having to pay the 20% tax before the start of this year, which is when the new deal we had took effect. Where, and even the guys I was buying from, I tried to contact them saying, "Do you have any idea what it's going to be like? Can I still buy from you? Am I going to have to pay fees?" And they're just like, "We don't know. We just don't know."
It's in limbo. Nobody knows what the new rules are.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a shame, really.
That I think is so important that people understand when they're beginning or even have been buying silver for a long time. The rules change. So it's important to like stay up on it, but also everybody's situation is different, both personally and locationally. And so, that's why it's really important to figure out what works best for you and talk to people that are experts like James or like Andy from Miles Franklin or whoever, so that you get the best advice on picking what's best for you right now. It might be different now than it was the last time you bought, or, certain products are at a higher premium that maybe you might not want right now because of the relation to other premiums. So there's just the level of education that you get on what you're doing is going to make a difference in the long run, and everybody's situation is individual. So I think that's one of the things that's so good about hearing, James, your story about storing stuff in Germany, or Elliot, your personal account of what it takes for you to get what you want at a price that makes sense. And that's going to be a unique story for everyone. So that's another like really interesting and exciting thing about silver.
One key question I used to always ask people, because you get in a conversation sometimes, I know you work on the phones sometimes with, high net worth and just regular investors too, mom and pops, et cetera. And they have questions and they probably have it written down. They're sitting there just hitting you with question after question, and you're answering a lot of questions. Hopefully you're asking them a lot of questions, because that always helps you to give them better service. But one question I always would just simply ask them is like, let's just calm down and just, all I want to hear from you is why you're interested in silver and gold. Just explain why, and just let them go. And then when you hear that, that'll tell you, it'll be either I want to preserve purchasing power. Okay, you're going to need some gold because that's very not volatile. It's pretty smooth. And then sometimes you'll hear people like, I want to make an upside. If this thing goes up a wall, I want to be holding some of this.
Yes.
And so you probably want to get a little bit of silver and maybe some platinum if you got a really long view. But that's really helpful. And sometimes people, if you can't do it on the phone with someone that you trust, you could just write it down your own self. Write it down and then just sit there and read it soberly and very, very slowly, and just think, am I worried about retention of my capital, or am I worried about trying to get outperformance? And this day and age, I would suggest return of your capitals first and foremost. And being like everybody else in this bubble mania and trying to become the next moonshot, whatever, that's kind of trite. I'd make sure I'd keep what I've earned and worked hard for.
You mean you're not buying a bunch of NFTs, James, because they go moon?
Can't wait. I'm gonna go stick 6 figures on an NFT right after this call, and plus the other 6 figures down a toilet. I think I might just do that.
The NFT on silver. That's what it is. The NFT on a silver bar. That's the new thing.
Right? Yeah. I mean, moon that. Hey, I would love to take a moment to introduce and welcome my special guest, which I just got Skyped about last minute. And he's actually the reason why I'm here on Arcadia and actually on the planet. I'd like to introduce my dad, Murray Steinman. Dad,
hi, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. And Chris said there was a special mystery guest, and I couldn't be more excited. You guys, my dad's my phone a friend for everything. And so it makes me so honored to get to welcome him to the show, along with, my great friends that I've gotten to meet over the past few years. He was one of my first best friends. So thanks for joining us. And he's been in silver since before I was born. And so he's got a lot more of a track record than I do. Although instead of giving you a long introduction, I'll just say, hi, Daddy. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. And that you're doing, I can't believe how good a job you're doing. You seem as completely poised and
Oh, did you see
I'm
the
really
beginning
impressed.
though?
that?
This is all new. Like I didn't know how to stream. I couldn't get Chris on. So thank you. I appreciate that since you're in media, and I appreciate your feedback.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'm just basically enjoying the show, and ignore me, everybody. Take over, Yar.
I do have a question. She said that you're in silver. Tell me about your history in silver.
Well, I started in silver back when the first big silver rush back in I think it was 73, and was vice president of a company that sold silver because you couldn't really basically buy or sell gold coins at the time. And I wrote my first silver ad to sell silver bars and basically junk silver and uncirculated silver, half dollars and things like that, under the name of Buy Silver, the Best Money can buy. Put it in Coin World magazine, and we got a bajillion responses from that.
Cool. That's fun.
So now by that, the world of silver has passed me by, and so I try to keep up with Chris and Yara, trying to find out what's going on. But silver has always been really a big part of what I think is important in terms of staying solvent in a world where we don't have a lot of control of the fiat currency. So
Murray, I was just looking at the 1973 silver chart. Something I did for SD Bullion was like, you can just simply Google silver prices 1973 and we'll be the first link up there. It shows you the chart for the year, and began the year at 2 flat roughly. And by the end of the year, it was 3.3. And it just basically on an angle like this, like a really nice, just smooth. I mean, some volatility, of course, silver's always going to have that. But on the overall, it just going from just left to right very nicely.
Yeah, no, it was a really interesting time. There was the Hunt brothers with their big silver move, and there's a whole story behind that as well, as you probably know. So it was definitely interesting time. Basically the what Nixon had done with gold and so on and so forth. Yeah. Do you know Joe Cobb by any chance?
No.
Joe Cobb was the guy. He started something called the Choice and Currency Commission way back when, and his whole goal was to create the conditions whereby people could own gold coins again. And he was sort of the mastermind behind that. If you ever bump into him, tell him I said hello. And
say his name one more time.
Joe Cobb, COBB.
Cool, Joe Cobb.
Yeah.
There's a few. I'm trying to remember a few names that come up in history about various people who politicked for gold to come back and be re-legalized. The name has kind of slipped my mind right now. I was putting myself on the spot, but there was even people that flew planes with banners like in front of Nixon, right? You remember that? Where they said, yeah, he was at like a political event and they're flying planes like legalized gold, like on the banner. Like just trying to embarrass these people, because I mean, think about it. You had gold run from 35 to 200, and all that time you couldn't legally own more than 5 or 4 ounces in the United States. And so you had arbitrage, people like John Exeter, who's a Federal Reserve governor. He's going over to Europe and he's buying mass gold coin in the 60s because he knows this thing's going to fall apart. And then when it falls apart, you know what he did? He just retired. And he retired early. He's like 60 years old. He retired early and just went around talking about how bad the system was going to fail eventually, about how much leverage they're building in it. So he had all this foreign gold coin in Europe and he made a lot of money that way.
Hey, listen, you should not listen to what people say, but watch what they do. Yeah. And that's a better action is the highest expression of basically understanding what people are really up to.
That's true.
True that, man.
Yeah, I am going to blast off. I am so totally impressed by what you're doing. And, so the mystery guest is no longer a mystery. I'm going to sign off.
Well, I'm so glad it was you. I had Silver Bill as my first mystery guest, but wow, I really, and hi, Daddy. I hope you had a great weekend and I'll catch up with you later. But thank you for hopping on. And I love your historical context for things, but more than that, I just love your presence. And thank you for coming and hanging out with my silver friends. And so I appreciate you joining us, and thanks for zooming in from the wilds of the Montanas.
Listen, it's my pleasure. And let me know when you're going to do this again. I won't be sort
Well,
of like.
I think my new
parachute in.
manager is all over that. He'll keep you informed. But I'll let you know, this was actually rather impromptu. It was because of a glitch in the matrix earlier today that inspired this lovely gathering of people on multiple continents, with
Oh.
people viewing all, yeah, I don't know if you heard, but Elliot's in Elliot, what
UK.
part? Well, you don't have to divulge your exact location, but
That's all right.
he's coming in from England.
Somewhere on
nice,
planet
nice
Earth.
to meet you. Nice to meet you, Murray. Yeah, I'm in
Yeah,
in the
nice
United
meeting you,
Kingdom.
Elliot.
Yeah. Oh, I found silver through Arcadia Economics and a few other channels in the YouTube algorithm combined. So yeah, I'm pretty fortunate to be here.
Algorithms do good too. They're not just for knocking people out of their stops, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is the one time the algorithms came through, and I know so much more now than I did before. And I was studying economics, for goodness sakes, and I didn't even know. I mean, I looked in my textbook about gold standard, and anything that ever comes up as a brief mention of gold standard, and they try to say that it played a bad role in the Great Depression. Yeah, Great Depression.
And the truth is, Elliot, is that we went from $20.67 to only 35. It was too deflationary price. They should have gone to 70. They should have devalued it much harder to get the
should have let market forces take place.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have stripped people of their private property, which should have been defended by. I don't even know. I obviously not know that much about American history. I do know, but I'm kind of shocked that it happened.
In 1934 gold clause, they basically cut private contracts.
Yeah.
Sanctity up. They just said, I don't care if you got a gold clause in there. The government's telling you you're going to settle in fiat.
So what the hell was the Supreme Court doing? Well,
I mean, you got to go look it up. It's obviously it's a long sordid tale, but I mean, to go in and say your private contracts are null and void when you have a gold clause that stipulates explicitly that it has to be settled in gold, and you turn around and say, nah, just get settled in dollars. Forget it. You know, it's that's not like the thing that you would expect out of the United States, the Republic of the United States. You know, that's a slippery slope.
The one thing you can always think about, whatever arguments you hear about, whatever the real or imagined problems with gold were, just compare those with the real problems of fiat currencies and all of the things that have happened and cascaded from that, and will keep cascading into the future. And then see which is a bigger problem.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
the century of world wars was just totally fueled by fiat currency. You know that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Who was it that it was? It was Ron Paul. There's no mystery that the century of central banking was the century of total war, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But also, I'd say that with regards to the gold, that's a violation of the Fourth Amendment as well. I think a case could be made.
If we didn't have fiat currency, we wouldn't have enough money to fight a lot of our wars.
Or at the very least, you'd have to pick and choose, as opposed to being the aggressors and invading other nations and trying to nation build halfway across the world, as opposed to fighting a defensive war, defending your own territory.
All right, guys, you're really dangerous. If I keep listening to you, I'm going to be here till tomorrow morning. So
we'll let you go on
Murray,
the promise that you join us again sometime, please, Dad.
I promise.
Thank you.
Great talking to you guys, and I'll be back.
Pleasure,
Nice to
Murray.
meet
Hey,
you.
what the name
Pleasure,
that had
pleasure.
slipped my mind? James Blanchard. That was the guy.
Oh, James Blanchard. Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Nice to meet
All right. Good night.
Nice meeting you too. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Well, that was a fun surprise. And
Oh, yeah.
can you see why he's like my first phone a friend?
That's sweet.
Nice.
Very sweet guy.
Yeah, he's excellent friend and father and mentor and all of the things. So I feel super blessed.
He lives in Montana. That's
Yes.
nice. That's a nice state. That's a nice place to
Totally.
be.
We used to actually live in the Paradise Valley, where the fly fishing is the best, and they filmed like a river runs through it, like right around there. Like it's as magnifique as imaginable. I know you spend your time finding magnifique places, James. So that
like
place
nature,
is just
right?
stunning.
As much as man makes cool temples and all that kind of stuff, I think nature's the king. And every time I see nature, it just takes my breath.
Yeah, the view out my window used to be like a painting, every day. And I mean, I live in Colorado, it's no slouch, but I had come from the East Coast to that big, literal big sky country. And I was like, oh yeah, big sky country, I get it. I was like 16 and kind of like angry. And I was like, whatever, like there's no place to go, nothing to do. And yeah, exactly. Like that's what makes it so magical. But I had never seen that far or that big. And it doesn't get old. Like the way it took my breath away the first time, that never stops. And that's like such a special thing that you can't put a price on. So
there's something about having a great view. Your naked eye, you can see like 100 miles, and you're just like, I cannot believe how far I can see and how beautiful this earth is. This great big earth.
Also, how fast what you're seeing 100 miles away can be like snowing on you in no time. Like that was wild to me too. I was like, oh look, there's something way over there, and then it's like whoosh.
Yeah, no doubt. I used that first place I moved to here. We had a nice patio, and I used to be able to get to sit and watch thunderstorms on the Pacific Ocean, and it was like fireworks show. I mean, just beautiful. And then also, it didn't have any really loud clanging, so it's just the actual lights.
Really it was pretty. Just a light show.
Yeah, it was really neat. Real neat.
Well, James, before you popped on, I was asking Elliot, like from watching, he watches the volume charts a lot and is usually our first commenter on what's going on with paper and tamping and this and that. But seeing what we saw today, which, I think we've agreed is a blip for a reason, like whatever the glitch, like purpose, mistake, whatever it is, what do you have any idea about what you think is going to happen for the rest of the week? And not necessarily based off of that, but just off of last week or anything you see coming.
I'm going to pull back. Just let me pull back, get a month or so, or just to kind of see technically how it looks.
Sure.
I mean, it looks buoyant. I mean, gold looks strong, and I think silver too this week. I don't foresee a situation where it just opens tonight or tomorrow in New York trading hours and dumps. I think it'll be pretty strong. I'm pretty, last week, the way it closed the trading week was pretty impressive. And we don't have to go that far back. It's only been a month ago since they came in and raided on that Sunday evening with the ridiculous derivative trade. Dropped gold down to 1600s. And that was one of the more egregious things I've ever seen in this market. I'd say the night that Trump got elected, that was one of the other more egregious things I've ever seen, where the price of gold went up like $60, and then right the next day, like within 24 hours, it ran down $100 to $110. So it basically interest swung like $110.
Totally normal, right?
Yeah, like could you imagine like waking up and you're like, Trump won, sell gold, sell mass notional billions of gold. It's like it makes no sense, at all.
I think Chris wants to comment on that one.
Huh?
No,
I thought you wanted to comment on what James was talking about, not that you were just like popping back in to say hi.
No, I just wanted to hear it right from the horse's mouth. Continue, please, sir.
Oh yeah,
just here to learn.
Some of the more egregious, gold raids. The last one on the 9th of August, that Sunday evening, I believe, or the 8th or whatever it was, where they came in and stomped on gold. The price went down all the way to
stomped on gold.
Oh yeah. They stomped on gold.
Sergeant Slaughter came and stepped on it, or what are you talking about, buddy?
Stomped on the derivative market of gold, and it pushed it down to like 1675 in the thinnest trading hour possibly. And what have we done from then? Just straight up like a diagonal line, It's only gone up. Now we're at 1825. So gold looks sound, looks buoyant. It's trading well, and I get the feeling that the sharks are swimming. I mean, Sean Paulson running his mouth about putting down bets 25 to 50x that are going to pay out with gold if it goes parabolic, like he was saying. You got Paul Tudor Jones, running his gold mouth and, being long BTC as well, and thinking inflation is going to be a lot bigger problem than it is, than at least the Federal Reserve's claim is going to be. You got
Reuters had inflation. I'll find it for you.
Where are we at inflation wise, Chris? 10% roughly? I think Professor Hankey was claiming it'll be 10% CPI by the end of this year. Could you imagine if that's like 2 times what it is right now?
James James, professionals say that's unlikely to succeed. There's plenty of silver, and central bankers in the United States and Europe expect inflation to stay in low single digits. So fuck the system. I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess we can all go to sleep now.
But if there's a back door well,
It's settled.
cracker might take that because the front's closed.
Don't forget, guys, it's completely transitory. All of it's transitory.
Life is transitory. Our existence on this planet, it's all transitory. Yep.
Whilst I got a moment, actually, the going back to the Reuters related thing, I'm on the CNBC website and it still shows the spike on the chart. Like you go on the chart, the silver US dollar spot, not the futures, but the ZAG XAG, which is silver. It still shows it spike. I'll put it on Twitter if you want to see. It still shows it spiking up to like $27.50 and then just coming straight back down. With that explanation.
Shane, you think this would be appropriate time to read the Thomson Reuters trust principles? Because I'm having a hard time trusting their sources right now. I mean, look at this. Oh, it's moving now. Oh, we got it updated. What?
It's finally working again.
That?
Finally back in this major.
Here was at 27:44 at 12:19 p.m. CDT. You're glitching the matrix retraction. And now it's open, but I can't even imagine what those principles are because I'm out hard. I don't know. Maybe you could explain to me.
I can't explain that one, Chris. I mean, the one thing I guess say is it's kind of.
You got to get somebody else on the show. Elliot, take over. James is retired. These were created in 1941, in the midst of World War II, right around Bretton Woods. Last time they said there was a war that supposedly ended, although some would dispute whether Hitler actually killed himself in the bunker or went down to Argentina where there's a lot of silver. Who knows? But hey, 1941, you have Bretton Woods, the end of the London gold pool. So this kind of thing where a reset in bankers lying happens every day or so, or a couple decades, depending on your perspective, right? James?
Yeah, no, Chris, I agree. I'm just still laughing about Cordoba and
the legal structure even evolved over time. So that means what could be the laws today, maybe they'll just change it whenever they feel it, like they've always done. And it's kind of what lawyers do, right?
Peter Hobson is bullish, I think, for silver. I think he really wants it to go higher, but he's
because he worked for a company that someone is seeking to obtain a significant shareholding or acquire control. I don't even know how to interpret this. This is quite confusing. Here's Reuters trust principles. That Reuters shall at no time pass into the hands of anyone, interest group, or faction. I swear I have not consciously seen this before. But James, you see, I can open up today. I'm going to show people my home. I guess people can know where I am, but you should see that. That's pretty cool. Maybe it's better than anything Reuters could talk about.
I need to blow up.
What does that say, Jake?
It says silver. The Arcadia silver. I can't read that last part. Arcadia silver. Let me get my views correct and get my screens bigger.
Nibbles. James can't answer. Your Uncle James doesn't know the answer. Oh, whoops, we're live on the air. I forgot about that.
I got you.
I'll let you guys, Yar's back. I'm sorry for butting in.
Where's
Show me that thing.
Nibbles?
You know,
Show it to me one more time.
I heard you call Nibble. Hi, Nibble. I will see you so soon for tacos, boy. That makes the whole show even better.
Dogs always make things better. Mine's downstairs sleeping right now because it's actually, and it just clocks my attention. It's almost 2 a.m. where I am, so I probably will have to be getting
thank you
going
for
soon.
staying up late with us for Silver
Nah,
Cat,
it's all right.
Elliot.
My sleep schedule's a little bit off, anyways. I just tweeted. I tagged you both. I'll show you what it's showing me on the spot chart. It's just a little spike. It's like it's kind of like that. What was it? The silver squeeze day where it went up and then went straight back down, basically. So yeah.
Awesome.
No,
And all of you watching, if you want a great Twitter follow, obviously James, humbly myself, but Elliot as well. Like
thank
he's
you.
hawkishly watching everything that's happening, and it's usually my first tweet I see whenever something notable is happening. So look up, find the tweet that he just tagged us in, and give him a follow too.
Elliot, what's your Twitter handle?
Oh yeah, please give it to us.
That's right. Elliot, ELLIOT _ Martin, MARTIN _ I follow you, James.
Cool. I'll follow you
yeah.
right now.
Oh,
Well,
thank you very
Elliot,
much.
thank
Awesome,
you
awesome.
for hanging out with us, and we appreciate your input and your patience with rereading things. And
Oh, that's all right.
honestly, the gravitas of your accent, like reading the same things that I read, like it's more fun to hear you do it. And I know that that's just like a weird dialectical like preference, but thank you for being you and for coming on and for sharing with us what you see, and also just yourself with us on the show. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It means a lot. I mean, kind of a nobody, but we're getting up there with the.
I don't
clout,
even
so to
know what
speak.
that means, man. So just
Yeah.
thank you.
No, thank you. No, thank you for having me, and nice to speak to you, James. I've watched your work with SD Bullion and your videos as well, so it's kind of cool, like meeting the people who actually do all this cool content. So thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure getting to talk to you. I see your face on Twitter, so now I don't see your face on Zoom, but now I see your face on Twitter.
Yeah, that's the one. I've got the request. I got the James Anderson
Cool.
follows you. There we go. That's winning. Perfect.
Awesome.
Elliot.
High
Thank
five,
you very much,
back.
guys. Take care. All the best.
All
too.
right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Bye.
Bye. And for anybody who's watching who's not following James, one, you're going to want to follow his YouTube channel because he makes some really awesome movies. Not just like what's happening right now, like he does that too, but also, as you can see, his history knowledge is pretty epic. And the long view things that he gets to share with us are things that I look forward to a lot of times on Friday evenings. Is that right, James?
Usually publish it on Friday evening, and
And can
maybe
you
it'll be a little earlier as time goes on, because I'm probably going to be in the European continent by next year this time, roughly. So expect
Cool.
that night. Bullion updates will come out even earlier on Fridays. I'll probably bail on the last spot mark tick. So
That's
don't
cool.
worry. Yeah, I don't think people look at it for me to tell them what the spot price closed at. I think they want to.
No. And I mean, they can get that online. Like if they want your expertise and like your take on things, they can wait for it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or tune in early. Do you want to tell people, and not that we have to be done, but it looks like the sun's going down where you are, or where, I don't know where you are, but it's getting darker.
I'm in the northern highlands of Panama, central.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you said highlands, but I didn't know which ones.
So the highlands of various countries, but Panama has one section, and it's in the northern highland. Basically, it's like a volcano complex I live right near, and I'm about a mile above the water. So occasionally the clouds come and ram right into my house, and it gets kind of cold. So I got a little bit of chill today, and I threw on that winter hat. So
you know, we're both coming to wherever people are watching from a mile high. How cool is that?
Cool. That is cool.
Yeah, but this far apart.
It's true. But I mean, killer views, I'm sure, from both sides.
Yeah.
So yeah, people can find the SD Bullion YouTube channel, and I think we just hit over 40,000 subscribers, so that was a big round number. Yeah, it was cool. And then as well, I'm on Twitter at James Henry And. You can find me at James Henry And on Twitter.
Cool. And I highly recommend that. I love James's takes on things and look forward. You're one of like the 3 people that I have notifications turned on.
Oh, that's cool. That's very nice.
It's Chris, Rob, and you. And if anybody else wants to get on my master list, do awesome things. And I will do that. But also, you know what? I should put you on my meme Maven list. Like I have the Silver Squeeze meme team list with all the guys who pump out. You guys might have seen the comment from Dumb Money Media earlier. You definitely want to follow him. Creflo Silver. There's a whole list. And so I would really go to my Twitter and look up my list and look up Silver Squeeze meme team. And James, I think with the amount of memes you're like me, we like to share the people's like who are doing awesome stuff and maybe are less known. A lot of these guys have like, you know, less than a couple of hundred followers, and they deserve to have their unique take on things shared with everybody. So I love that you really highlight that. I know I really try to amplify those, and so yeah, let's keep the memes rolling. And
you get the spot running up higher, and wait till you see the imagination on the next round. It's going to be ridiculous. I mean,
well, especially when people don't have to do their day jobs anymore, right?
Right. Just sit around thinking about memes all day. Exactly.
Well, that's time well spent in my mind. And so I'm so thankful for their creativity. And it's been such a joy for me to get to spend time with smart, creative, interesting, thoughtful, historically knowledgeable, but also, forward looking people like yourself and the other people I've been blessed to meet in the metals space. So I'm just, every time I do this, I get a little bit of a pinch me moment. It's like, this is what I get to do now. It's like, talk about like things that are important with people who, can help further not only my understanding, but, really spread the word with a bigger population about something that affects us all. And so that's why I'm glad I'm one of the 40,000 subscribers so far to your channel and have your notifications turned on. And
it's definitely a labor of love. I get a lot of flow out of it, Yara. Sometimes that'll take me 10 hours sometimes to do those videos.
I'm sure.
It just kind of blazes through and I lose track of time. But it's a labor of love, and to get to do that and have people like it is really cool and rewarding. And I mean, it's an asymmetric bet right now, silver is. I think the downside is very limited and the upside is very high given what's going on. And so it's kind of cool that you can combine two things where it's like interesting, populist, sound money. People shouldn't, have their hard-earned savings devalued by a bunch of bureaucrats running around with the burr press. And at the same time, we should sit here and keep an eye on them and have fun and make memes and enjoy the show as it comes along.
Totally. And if it wasn't for people doing their like more nefarious things, we wouldn't have things to point out and make fun of and also like enjoy the ride. So it's all part of a big ecosystem that I think we're watching change. And that's an exciting thing as well. So I'm glad to be, part of the ride with you guys. And it's always fun to catch up and, see, first of all, where everybody is and what they're thinking and what they're, doing. And we get to do it. Let's, check back soon and see what's going on. Cause I think it's an exciting time.
Yeah, there's exciting weeks and months to come here. I think this end of this year is going to be fun. And so I'm jazzed for it. I'm not concerned about some fall deflationary mess. I think silver and gold are poised for a good next few months.
Yeah, I do too. Well, on that note, I just want to thank everybody who spent this time with us. It's always great to get to be a part of the chat. Today, I'm less a part of the chat, so I get to be here and talk to you. So thank you all for your love and feedback, and thanks for joining Chris and Elliot and Bill Murphy and James, and just keep checking back in with us because it's exciting and it's fun. And on even on the boring days, it doesn't mean, like the flat days, it doesn't mean that there's not good things happening. And so it's good to have friends, and thank you for joining us. And please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell wherever it is. And on that note, James, anything you'd like to say before we go?
Much love to everybody out there. Talk to you later, Yara. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you. Yeah, totally. Can't wait. And everybody have a great night, and we will talk to you soon.